Well, good morning, everybody. It's your boy, Big Ghost Rider, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm still up here, man, in Hudson Valley, outside of New York City, man, in the New York City metro, probably about 30 miles, man. You know what I'm saying? This episode, I believe, number 65. I'm cruising with Ghost Rider, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, guys, if you guys new to the channel, whoever watched this, that might just be, for those of y'all who keep hearing it, I'm sorry, but new people coming in, for the new people coming in, you know what I'm saying? We did the We the People tour. Wrapped that up probably, I'll say around December-ish. You know what I'm saying? And then we started the cruising with Ghost Rider. You know what I'm saying? Giving y'all the same great content. I'm just doing it in the car. So, you know what I'm saying? I said I wanted to do about 100 episodes of that. You know, we might not be cruising. You know what I'm saying? Coming up soon, who knows? You know, it might not be in the car, but I wanted to keep that cruising with Ghost Rider till we do 100 episodes. Then we're going to start the We the People tour. So this morning, y'all, we got a great conversation to go over, talk about. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about that war going on in Iran. You know what I'm saying? There have been 2 terror attacks on the U.S. homeland yesterday. Both of them happened within hours of each other. 2 terror attacks in America. You know what I'm saying? And then we're going to look at what's going on in the Middle East, too, in pertaining to that war. You guys haven't liked the video. I ask that y'all double tap the screen for me. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell, guys. We about to get started in just a minute. Man, it's gorgeous out here, ain't it? Hey, there's plenty of gorgeous spots in America, man. I promise you, just like that, man. You know what I'm saying? Go all over this beautiful nation, man. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm going to do with this live stream, you know? Before we get into a studio, start recording the material traditionally, or I'll say like you see everyone else doing it. You know what I'm saying? My goal is to go all over America to Tax the Rich tour. Just one more tour. I'm halfway there. It's going to do that for me. You know what I'm saying? Guys, today, I want to start off with a mentality. You know what I'm saying? Everything's about a mentality. Some people say attitude. Some people say mentality. So my question for you guys is, do you have to prove you tough? And what situations do you have to prove that you're tough? And I think that's the question. I think whenever I hear our leaders speak, and this isn't indicative to President Trump and Secretary Hegseth, it's like an innate desire for American leaders for generations. America achieved greatness not only in winning the Second World War, guys, y'all got to think about how catastrophic these wars are. We're talking about over 100 million people dying in the two world wars combined. 100 million over. So we're saying you win in both world wars, emerging as the world's first nuclear power and among the world's 2 superpowers. And then you get to the 80s and America emerged as the dominant power on the world scene for how long? So I can understand every American president, especially on the Republican side, but not exclusive to the Republican side, every American president having an innate desire. That's what I'm going to call it this morning. An innate desire to show dominance on the world stage. So my question is this morning, do you have to prove that you're tough? Like I said, this isn't to President Trump and to Speaker Hegseth, you know what I'm saying? I just explained that, you know what I'm saying? But speaking of the situation that we have right now going on with Iran, is it necessary to prove that you're tough? Or when is it necessary? You said, Ghost, what you talking about, man? Go and get to it. This is what I'm saying. I think listening to our leaders, you hear them talk and speak of American dominance and America superiority and American exceptionalism. And they say it to us impressors, and I'm saying they say it to the world. And I understand the strategy behind that, militarily speaking. But what I'm trying to say is that I know America's stronger than Iran, man. Who don't know that? I know America can crush Iran in a conventional war. I know that. The American government knows that. The Russian government knows that. The European government knows that. All of them, and the Chinese government know that, and the Iranian government know that. That's see that the ability. Excuse me, the desire to prove that you're tough or to prove or show that you're great, it can cost you. Because I'm saying for America to look like they won this war, I'm saying it's got to be complete dominance. I'm saying if that's what the game you win, because you show. Listen, we know how strong and how tough America is. I'm never gonna run to a conflict in the world with the goal to show how strong and tough America is. They're gonna see it. That's not what we should be trying to do. That should not be our goals. That should not be our objectives in any way. What you got to understand is Iran, for them to win, they got to fight a different type of war than us. We can crush them. Believe me. America, not only can America crush Iran, take the nuclear weapons off the table for a second. America could crush Russia. And regardless of how bloody it is, I believe America could crush China. Because America has the experience and the weapons. I believe America can crush China. That's what I believe. I'm saying you see Ukraine standing up against Russia. America could crush China. I believe that. But this isn't about proving that you're tough. It's about winning and losing. So if we look at the wins and losses and you understand Iran's objective isn't necessarily to maintain their navy. That's not their objective. They know America and Israel together could completely destroy their navy, which they have done. Iran's objective isn't to maintain their air force, or their objective isn't to maintain their rockets or maintain their drones. Or Iran's objective is to survive. That's their only objective. That's the only thing the Iranians have to do and the Iranian government has to do is to survive. And in the meantime, create as much terror and mayhem and chaos as possible. Yes, that's their only objectives. And if you look at it from those lenses, the Iranians are accomplishing what they're achieving to do. It's like, listen, if you have a nation that we're calling the world's largest and greatest, which they are, state sponsor of terrorism, I'm saying this regime is known for wreaking havoc on the world. So what President Trump and them trying to do is really a noble thing. But it's a reason why so many presidents chose not to do this, chose not to take this move. But what I'm saying is the Iranians, their goal is to wreak terror on the entire world. Am I wrong or right? So I'm saying when you go and attack them, you know what you do? You give them a green card. You give them a permission slip. You give them an excuse to tell the whole world that they get to do what they want to do. And that's wreak terror. And we're going to talk about terrorist attacks in America. Listen, you could say, hey, Ghost, now be careful what you say. I'm finna play some audio for you, and I'm going to let the news people tell you the news. And I'm going to just analyze because that's what I do and give you strategy. Listen, this is what I'm saying. Whether or not in Michigan or whether or not on the East Coast in Maryland, I believe, whether or not or Virginia, excuse me, whether or not these two gentlemen were Iranians are directly connected to the Iranian Revolutionary Guard. It's not like they're Hezbollah or Hamas. They're proxies. You know what I'm saying? Just lone wolves. But what I'm trying to tell you, and what I've been saying from the very beginning, ISIS sympathizer or not, this is what I've been saying from the very beginning. What we are fighting is an ideology. It's not about fighting a person, a man, or anything like that. We're fighting an ideology. That's what we're fighting. That's across the world. You know how many Muslims hate Americans? Yeah, there's Muslims that's cool with Americans. I mean, ingrained within their religion, they believe that we are what? The infidel. We believe that too, is to some extent Christianity about. But I'm saying we're not going to go pick up a bomb and then go blow up a lot of their buildings because, for whatever reason, the because it's irrelevant. The violence is irrelevant. So morally, I understand what President Trump's doing. If you have in 1990, if you have 5 villains in the Middle East, I'm saying the worst of those villains is the Ayatollah, in my opinion. The easiest targets or the hardest target of those 5 villains in the Middle East in 1990 is the Ayatollah. That's why President Trump feels like, hey, you know what I'm saying? I was the president who had to come do it because it had to get done. But I'm saying the cost of the war and understanding Iran winning isn't to maintain their military. You could listen, America, we tougher than Iran. Israel together, complete dominance. But I'm saying I knew that before the war. I'm going to know that after the war. That has absolutely nothing to do with what's going on in this world right now as the results of stepping in that cesspool. It's not about being stronger. That's what I just laid out the case. It's not about being tougher. It's not proving you stronger and tougher. And Iran, they could hardly care that you destroyed this or that. They're terrorists. I'm saying we're thinking like normal civilized people, and they're thinking like kamikaze suicide terrorists who gonna die and go to heaven and get 77 versions. He a terrorist, man. He's an extremist. You could call them Muslims. I don't call them Muslims. Good morning, guys. Good morning, Pure Joy, Orange and Ellie. Y'all double tap the screen. I'll get down in there with y'all in just a minute. I got some audio to play for y'all, though, man. That's what I'm saying. It ain't about being Muslims. The Saudis are Muslims. The Kuwaitis are Muslims. These guys are terrorists. So terror has hit the American homeland as the war with Iran wages on. Whether or not these guys, before I play this audio for you, whether or not these guys were directly tied to Iran, directly tied to the Middle East at all is irrelevant. Before the war started, we knew about Iran having terror cells in the United States. I wouldn't say extensively that this will continue because the Federal Bureau of Investigation does a really good job since 9/11 on these type of operations. So they're going to crack down and they're going to be looking. And yeah, so I wouldn't say there's a complete danger to us in the homeland. But what I told you what Iran's objectives is to wreak terror and hate and chaos and mayhem. Like not in the Dark Knight, it's the Joker. It's the Joker strategy, the Vietnam strategy, guerrilla warfare. I'm just going 1,000 paper cuts. That's all they could do. They can't beat America. That's known. So you got to understand that. And if you understand that, that's going to change your strategy. It's going to change the way you talk. It's going to create humility because there's a price for America to pay for this that we're paying. Guys, there was a airline that went down yesterday. And it refused other airlines. It's a U.S. refueling jet. It went down. You're looking at 5 souls, man. I don't know. I have to check the news. We'll do it together. We don't know. I hadn't checked it this morning, but those 5 souls were still missing as of last night. 5 more souls. Because I'm saying the cost of American lives, y'all know, Ghost, I've been saying that that's the highest price to pay. And then you spend $5 to $6 billion in the first 2 days of the war. Spending was roughly about $1 billion a day, averaging out. That's a heavy price, man. The price of gas, I'm talking about me and you, the price that me and you paying. Gas up about 30%. That's almost a whole dollar when it's said and done. And I'm saying that Strait of Hormuz, we're going to talk about it, is still closed. But the Iranian tankers are passing through. I'm saying Iran was prepared for this. Their tankers still passing through. But they got it closed for the rest of the world. I'm saying the prices that has to be paid when you go to the war, when you go to war with the world's leading sponsor of terrorism, then I'm saying, you're going to expect terror. That's what they do. They wreak havoc. They wreak terror on the world. They have been doing it. That's why President Trump and them over there in the first place. Guys, NBC News. This was published 11 hours ago. The Federal Bureau of Investigation investigates 2 possible terror attacks inside the United States. Inside the United States, we're going to talk about Americans. Our military, y'all pray for our military. Please, y'all pray for our military, man. God bless our military. Whether you're for this war or you against this war, they're just following orders. When they're told, if you guys don't understand the military, if you was never in the military, you don't understand how it works. When they told, I could be a whole Democrat. I could have voted for Kamala Harris 35 times if possible. And if I got on that uniform and when my commander told me we got to do it. You got to do what's told. So pray for our military. But I'm saying here in America, guys, I'm not going to tell the story. I'm going to play this audio, man, and I'm going to let y'all check it out.
Terrifying day for America. 2 horrific attacks, 700 miles apart, both being investigated as a possible terror attack. They come as the war with Iran rages on amid fears of retaliation here in the U.S. Right now, there is currently no known connection between a deadly shooting at Virginia University and an attack on a Michigan synagogue. But they
Guys, before I continue, they said there's no known connection. So we don't want to be conspiracy theorists here on the Legal Wars Live. I'm a paralegal, litigator, open litigation, federal court, stick with the laws and the facts. But what I'm saying is these 2 terror attacks that happened on the same day, they didn't happen prior to. When the last time you heard of a terror attack on American soil? President Trump was calling Renee Good and Ellis Peretti terrorists. And Antifa terrorists, that's the terrorists I've been hearing. Domestic terrorism or narco terrorists. He calling people Americans terrorists. But I'm saying what's happening now, this is what we were used to seeing, like, George Bush days, those war days, where it's like Middle Eastern and Asian influenced terrorism in the United States. That's what's going on, because this is directly in some way, somehow connected to the Iranian conflict. I told y'all, they said in my line, they said, hey, that there's, you guys, that Iran has sleeper cells they could unleash in the United States. I ain't saying none of these people are connected to nothing to do with Iran. You heard what NBC News said. I'm going to let the reporters report, because they're the ones obtain this information, so they got to tell it accurately. Because if it's wrong, I'm going to tell y'all NBC News saying this. But analyzing what he's saying and thinking about the situation, that within miles apart, same day, within hours, you have 2 terror attacks in the United States. And I'm going to let them finish telling the story. And they saying out there something to do with what's going on in the Middle East. So if you want to say that the Iranians ain't going to come out directly and tell you that they doing something, not saying that they are, or that it's a sleeper cell, not saying that it is. I'm sure it's no evidence of it. If it ever is, I don't know if they'll bring it out. They're not trying to scare the American people. But all I'm trying to say is on your own soil. If they could hit you on your own soil, their objective is to not, thank you for the donation, guys. Their objective is not to go into a head-to-head military conflict with America and Israel. Because Israel over there getting pounded. That's not being reported. Israel is getting pounded. I'm talking about, it's like Hezbollah and Iran is coordinating in the homeland and in Lebanon, and they pounding Israel. That's not being reported. I could tell you about it. Israeli cities, buildings on fire for hours. Yeah, they need America. Trust me, Israel is a very small nation. And you talking about a nation of 92 million people, that Iranian, bro, they've been, and that's why Israel, and they felt like this, they opportunity, and to, you see what I'm saying? But that cost of war is heavy to pay. Because those are Israeli cities and those are Israeli lives who are paying the consequence of this. And so that's going to make you second guess and second question. I'm not going to get too deep into the theology. Let me keep playing the audio for you. But I just wanted to address that. He said, he didn't say that these two terror attacks in America were connected. Two terror attacks in America on the same day, within hours apart from each other. Mouse, come on, man. What's really going on? It might not be an Iranian sleeper cell. You fighting the ideology all across the world. People who are anti-American or hating American and Muslim extremists. I'm saying Iran is the epicenter of that hate. We said it. What you think the world's greatest or largest sponsor of state terrorism means? That's the epicenter of the hate in Iran. And it's like President Trump. You remember President Trump snatching all the bad guys. He's going up against the root of the evil. So this is what we get.
Virginia University, at a Virginia University, and an attack on a Michigan synagogue. But they have sent a chill across the country tonight. This was the scene outside of Detroit today, one of the biggest synagogues in the country. Fire pouring out of it after a man rammed his car into its doors, then security started shooting. The synagogue had trained for an attack, and security took down the assailant, who died before any lives were lost. And at Old Dominion University in Virginia, a man firing on military officers in training, killing one of them and injuring two others. He had
So I'm saying, in my opinion, you're not going to add those numbers into the cost of war. I'm talking about these are our troops. God bless our troops, y'all. How many of you guys have served in the military? 16 million veterans, millions of active duty military members. Y'all pray for our troops, man. You see what I'm saying? Right here in America, youngsters. I'm saying we look at this like, it's just a number, or it's just a casualty. It's just another person that died. Like you hear a president say, and I'm not bagging on President Trump. I told y'all from the beginning, I'm not a partisan. I don't have nothing against President Trump like a lot of y'all do. I'm coming from a different place. You hear a lot of presidents say it's the cost of war, but you got to think about it, man. That is somebody's precious. President Trump, that's somebody's precious Baron Trump. Young, future, did all the right things in the military, all the right things in life, and then to die. And I'm saying I'm 45. It's not like I've been living in a vacuum, but I'm just saying the unnecessarily, or the cost of a necessary war. That's what we debating, really. Or is it an unnecessary war? Because that cost is high. Forget what Iran's trying to do. I started off telling you that their goal isn't to win a conventional war with America. Y'all got that twisted. Their goal is to do exactly what they're doing. Wreak terror and mayhem and chaos. But I'm saying right here in America, they in class, bro. Youngsters in America. Huh? I'm saying we can't be having since the FBI keen to that, y'all gotta shut all of that down. You cannot, because I'm saying that's kind of creepy, like terrifying, kind of to think that within our own borders, just regular citizens. I'm saying, forget the stock market. If you had plans on investing in the stock market, you can wait and hope that comes back. Because I'm saying the stock market down 700 points yesterday, 3,000 points total since the war started. I'm saying it's at 46,000, and it's a real good chance it'll be at 45,000, the Dow Jones today. When President Trump started, it was at 42 or 43. He gonna get there. Think about that. Trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars every gain. And y'all know that's one of his bragging points. Every dollar gained since he been president, he about to lose every dollar, and he took it to record territory in less than a year. That's an incredible cost to pay. Guys, we paying almost $1. You got $2.75 average, $2.89 average. What's the national average of gas before the war started? You gonna get up, you inching to $4 all across America. $4 a gallon. And they still got the Strait of Hormuz closed. And look, they ships passing through. That's what I'm gonna report today too. We got a lot of different stories to report today, audio. They ships passing through that strait that they got closed, that they laid with mines. They've been waiting for this for a minute. Their goal isn't to beat America in the conflict. Their goal is, I'm trying to show President Trump, Secretary Hegseth, and the Republicans, you want to be tough, you showing off your weapons, you flatline, destroy everything, and just like in Afghanistan, it's going to be 20 years later, and you're going to be on an airplane trying to get up out of there with them shooting at you, bro. You're not fighting against a conventional war. Them people not going to stop shooting at you. Regular people, they're going to be popping up out the woodworks. And they're going to keep popping and shooting at you. It's an ideology. They think you the devil. They think you the great white devil. They're not going to stay. And then you in their homeland too. Imagine if you had a bunch of Muslims over here dropping, but we ain't going to stop shooting at them. That's what I'm trying to tell you. And it's the cost that you have to pay to continue this war. It's the cost. The military, focus on the military. The military's objective is to contain. You've done that. You've accomplished that. You destroyed the Navy. You destroyed the bombs. You destroyed the Air Force. You destroyed. What else you trying to do? Because see, if you want to make it to those objectives and that strategy, and you focused on showing how tough you are, Put boots on the ground to show that you're tough. The price you paid, it's only been 2 weeks. It's 13 days. How many days it's been? It's 2 weeks. That's a lot going on for 2 weeks, boy. A lot going on. If you guys haven't liked the video, y'all double tap the screen for me. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel down in the notification bell. Pure joy. I see you guys down there, man. I'll get down there in just a second. Y'all jump down in the conversation. Republicans, independents, Democrats, it don't matter on Legal Wars Live. We talking about it, baby.
One of them and injuring 2 others. He had previously been arrested for supporting the terror group ISIS, both being investigated now as possible acts of terrorism. The president last night saying they were aware of Iranian sleeper cells inside the U.S. These incidents, experts say, more likely to be lone wolves than directed by Iran. We'll get into that in a moment, but we begin on the ground in Michigan. Ty Steele from our affiliate WDIV is outside that synagogue. A terrifying scene at a Michigan synagogue today that's now being investigated as possible terrorism, according to the FBI. Police, bomb squads, and the FBI all racing to Temple Israel in West Bloomfield after reports of an active shooter and fire that was spreading across the sprawling complex. A authorities telling NBC News a man with a rifle drove a vehicle into the building with preschool in session. The suspect then managed to drive down a hall, but security guards working for the synagogue opened fire with the semi-automatic weapons. The suspect died.
Guys, listen to me. So, I haven't covered this story, and I don't know how many of you guys follow the news, but America accidentally, you know what I'm saying? They accidentally sent missiles and rockets and bombs and the likes at an Iranian school, killing Iranian children. It was a mistake. The Pentagon said they had the wrong data or bad data. I really ain't into trying to cover that because I'm saying that could look a lot worse or be made to seem a lot worse than it was. If it was an error, America's not into doing that. So I take them at their word. That's an error. I only said that to say this, man. These are preschoolers in a Jewish school, synagogue, preschoolers. He driving his car. He got a gun into a preschool. So I'm saying, listen, if you got one and you got two terror attacks, both of them in America within hours of each other, and what's perplexing is they're hundreds of miles apart at a time when Hezbollah and the world's largest state sponsor of terrorism is stepping up those sleeper cell attacks. And I'm saying they're going for preschoolers. Why? You could think that there's no correlation and connection between. We don't have evidence of it. I can't come on and say there is a correlation or connection. I'm just saying that, man, that is quite perplexing. That is quite perplexing. But my thing is, bro, preschoolers, children. Like I'm saying, if America's over there fighting a war in Iran, I'm not defending America's actions. I'm very critical and I analyze a lot of things. My analyzation of the situation is President Trump staying there longer than he should. 2 weeks in, you accomplished 100% of the military objectives. Week 3, President Trump. This next week coming up, starting on Monday, President Trump, we want to announce that we are leaving Iran, President Trump. This is how you win. We are leaving Iran in week number 3. We've done 2 weeks. We got one more week, y'all, and we getting on down. We finna wind it on out. The military objectives are accomplished. You know Iran's not finna get no nuclear weapon. They not gonna really be launching no more missiles into not no time soon. They gotta rebuild their Navy. They gotta rebuild their Air Force. And we've destroyed thousands of structures. We talking about years. The military is trying to stop them from projecting power outside of their borders. That objective, President Trump, you can always go back. You ain't got to stay there the whole 3 years. I'm saying you could go back. So in week 3, we need to be saying, man, we finna get on down. We up out of here, y'all. We got it done. What I'm trying to say, bruh, America, the mistake was made. They did hit and you could think in your mind whatever you want to. Oh, yeah, it was AI. I heard people say it was artificial intelligence. America's letting the artificial intelligence read, and they made the calculations, and the calculations said, hey, take out this school. You know what I'm saying? The children at that school, I think, they were children of the. But so I'm saying, like, I ain't into no conspiracy theories. I know one thing for certain and two things for sure. America doesn't have a history of killing children and kids and women and civilians. That's not their history. Not our military. That's not our military history. And I'm not going to let you put no politician or your opinion of a politician reflect negatively on our military. So, and I'm not trying to, I am biased. I am a veteran. You know what I'm saying? I am a patriot, but still in all, I'm going to be honest if I have to be honest. And I'm saying America doesn't have a history of killing women and children, not America's militaries. That's just facts. But what I'm saying is you come to America and you want to prove a point. How can I prove a point? I'm going to try to go kill some Jewish preschoolers. It's an unfathomable situation, bro. It's unbelievable, man. You know what I'm saying? And I'm saying it's really a sad and unfortunate tragedy. How long? You don't have to prove to the world that you're tough when you are the tough nation. When you are the toughest of the tough, you don't have to show the world that you're tough. In my opinion, you already showed them. And I'm saying, like, if we keep it going and we keep it going, there's going to be more of these tragic and more of these tragedies, and there's no threat to the American homeland. We are losing American lives. It's costing Americans billions, pretty much is going to be, and extra money and gas and other. I'm saying it's 2 weeks. That higher gas is going to mean higher everything. Ghost, what you talking about? Look, I look across the street, I see a McDonald's. How that food get to McDonald's? It's coming in on the truck. You understand that? Well, the truck paying higher gas prices because the truck company who bringing it in paying, they got to, thank you for the donation, they got to charge McDonald's higher prices. McDonald's, you get that? It's going to affect everything. It's not just affecting us with gas. That's just the immediate consequence. It's not going to just affect stock markets. It's going to affect American businesses. This isn't a situation. I'm saying the average American, the average person in the world, they know it's not, you thinking about it in terms, Iran's not the bad guy. They are the bad guy, but Iran's not the tough guy on the block. We know America is. But we know what Iran is. They terrorists. We don't want to go poking no beehive. You got to chop that beehive down. You chop it down and you get on down. You going to chop the beehive down and you over there playing with the bees. You going to get us stung because you playing with the bees. Chop that hive down, throw some gasoline on it, whatever happen, and get on out of there. That's what ghosts say, dude.
For the synagogue, opened fire with the semi-automatic weapons. The suspect died.
It's hard to say how fast. I mean, he was traveling with purpose down the hall.
Smoke seen billowing from the building is believed to be from a fire connected to the suspect's vehicle, which may have had explosives inside.
You couldn't even see the hall was completely clear. We had to send people in with gas masks to clear that area.
The sheriff says one of the security guards was taken to the hospital after being hit by the vehicle, but is expected to be okay. No temple staff or children from the daycare or preschool were injured. They were all evacuated and hours later reunited with their families. The president spoke about today's incident.
It's a terrible thing. We're going to be right down to the bottom of it.
Law enforcement says it is ramping up security at all Jewish facilities in the area. Many were already on heightened alert after recent attacks against the Jewish community. From arson at a Mississippi synagogue to a car repeatedly ramming into a Chabad center in New York. And in December, the shooting on Bondi Beach in Australia at a Hanukkah celebration that killed 15 people. Temple Israel is one of the largest Jewish congregations in the entire United States, with more than 3,000 families. A rabbi there says they have had a plan in place in case any incidents like this one. And the sheriff says since the war with Iran began, they've been coordinating with law enforcement at all levels.
We've been talking for 2 weeks about the potential, sadly, of this happening, so there was no lack of preparation.
Tonight, the community is shaken.
This is senseless. It's senseless. We have to be better than this. This is not okay. So that's all I want. Everyone to be okay.
And with that, Ty Steele joins us now live from outside that synagogue. Ty, you spoke with residents in
Guys, so we understand what happened to the synagogue, and so I want to get to what happened in Virginia at Old Dominion University, okay? So we got that with the synagogue, and none of the preschoolers were hurt. Nobody was injured. The only person who died was the terrorist, okay? The person trying to ram the car or whatever. That's the only person who died. That's an act of terror. That's in Michigan. It's against a Jewish synagogue. So You know, let's go to the second one where someone did die and is injured, and it's American military people.
Being investigated as an act of terrorism. We're learning the suspect was once convicted of providing material support to ISIS. Brian Nobles reports it was a student who stepped in to take him down.
So this suspect actually had been convicted of providing material support to ISIS. So this is a little bit different.
Tonight, the suspected terror attack playing out on a campus in Virginia. Old Dominion University on high alert after a shooter opened fire in a classroom.
Reports of an active shooter in the building.
Just before 11 a.m., officials say 36-year-old Mohammed Baylor Jala specifically targeted an ROTC class on the Norfolk, Virginia campus.
We have confirmed reports that prior to him conducting this act of terrorism, he shouted or stated Allah Akbar.
Jermaine Bago's son was in the room and called soon after the gunfire broke out.
He was very distraught and nervous. You can hear it in his voice. But he wanted to let me and his mother know that he was okay, that he was unharmed.
A group of brave students stepped in to subdue the suspect.
And if not for them, I'm not sure, what else he may have done.
According to police, one person was killed, 2 others injured. The shooter also died. The Secretary of the Army tonight saying both people injured were Army personnel. Jallo is from Sterling, Virginia, and was a former member of the Army National Guard. He was arrested in 2016 for attempting to provide material support to ISIS, according to court documents, and allegedly attempting to gather weapons to be used in an attack in the U.S. The complaint at the time said Jallo also attempted to provide funds to people hoping to join ISIS.
That's so unfortunate. What that's telling me that right now at this time, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, Homeland Security, all of our organizations must be on point and on key, similar to like how it was immediately following 9/11. I'm saying you could forget about a terrorist in Minnesota, or a terrorist and a narco terrorist. I'm saying y'all need to focus and concentrate on that real terrorism. It ain't got to be coming from the Middle East. You got a lot of people in America. You heard President Trump and them said about how many, suspicious characters came across that border, have been coming across the border, not blaming it on Joe Biden. I'm not playing no partisan politics this morning. I'm talking about a real live threat to all Americans. These Iranians or whoever these terrorists are, they could be Americans, sympathizers, thinking that America is bully or the great white devil. It's a lot of people within America are not. They're not one of us. They're part of us, but not one of us. And what I'm saying, and they could want to harm to America. This is their opportunity and moment too. So I'm saying we have to be vigilant and we have to watch for this. I'm saying this is a time, these people, when they attack Americans, they're not going to say, are you a Republican or a Democrat? We shouldn't be playing no political or partisan games at this time. President Trump, for those Democrats who you say, Ghost, you're not here on our side, and he shouldn't have got involved in the war, and you know that too. Well, I'm saying there's going to be a time for us to deal with that. But for right now, we need to be focused on, number one, keeping Americans safe, the homeland safe, and number two, getting up out of there as quick as we can. That's the way I feel. The way Iran wins this conflict and the way America wins this conflict are two totally different things. Iran wins the conflict with terror by driving up the price. Before America started, if Iran could have said, they know they can't beat America in no military conflict, but they could say, hey, you attack us, we can make gas prices go up to $6 a gallon in America. Across the world, that's going to cripple. This is the richest nation on earth. Across the world, that'll cripple some nations. That'll cripple some economies. That'll cripple a lot of people, not just in America, but across the world, more so in the world. Democrats need to stop blocking the DHS funding bill. Yeah, Brian, they do. At this time, and see, you see how I just look before this situation, I would say yes, but at this time, I say they do. It need to be all hands on deck. You need the Department of Homeland Security. I'm talking about that's the largest federal government organization in America, and that's what George Bush created. Let them go to work. That's their job, keeping the homeland safe. The FBI too, man. You need to, y'all put that partisan stuff down right now. I mean, you don't want them hitting Houston. You don't want, it's already been a terror attack in Mississippi. It could be in your town, in your city, in your whatever. It could be somebody you know and you love. That's what I'm saying. We don't need to be selfish. We don't need to be partisan. And we need to unite as Americans. You know what I'm saying? Like we were 9/11. That's the whole point of fighting terrorism. Thank you for that donation, Brian C. If you guys want to donate to the channel, hit the button with the $sign in it. Your donations are much appreciated, okay? Now, if you told Iran that prior to this war, would they defeat America? Come on, guys, let's be real. But if you told them they could drive gas prices up in America, if gas prices get to $6 a gallon in America, across the world, they have. If you told them that's the way you could, if they would look at that as a mass success. Attacking the United States, killing American service people, or them getting killed on their own shores. To Iran, that they were able to do that, that's a mass success. Attacking American businesses with cyber attacks, and that's coming, guys. We knew it was going to come before it's come, and they trying to do it right now. And destroying American military hardware. These are the successes for Iran. Inflicting pain, controlling the Strait of Hormuz. But guys, we've been knowing this from the beginning of time. Like, we all know these are the situations with Iran. These are the problems. That's what Iran is doing right now. This is how they're going to fight this war. They're trying to win. They're going to let you destroy their Navy. They can't stop you. You got the Air Force, you got everything, and they ringing. But it's the reign of terror. They're terrorists. You fighting terrorists. Imagine you fighting against ISIS, but it's an entire 92 million. It's the precipice. It's the climax of the fight against terrorism. When you fought bin Laden, you were fighting Iran. When you fight ISIS, you fighting Iran. Listen, I guarantee you almost every terrorist in the region got some kind of connection to Iran. They ain't get that name as the largest state sponsor of terrorists for no reason. That's what they are. You're fighting against terror. You got to realize that what their objectives is to inflict pain. That's the only way they could fight. Guys, what I want to do is I just want to make a point. How President Trump said that he wanted to choose the new leader of Iran. I don't think that sounds like a regime change, a regime like, a forever war, locked into Afghanistan forever. Because I'm just trying to put the pieces on the chessboard so you can understand what's really going on. Because I'm saying now, I got a new story to report, new audio. This coming from the BBC. It was 13 hours ago. A new supreme leader, Mohammad Khamenei, vows to avenge the blood of Iranians, and of his father is his son. Now, when he go to speak, and I'm not trying to play his speech and what he's got to say, death to America. He gonna start off like, a little different than his daddy probably. That's what he gonna end up yelling. But my point is you go over there, you kill the supreme leader. Okay? I compared that to what President Trump did with with Maduro. He didn't kill Maduro, but he snatched him, put him in jail. Like, you gone, just like that. The same thing, America and Israel. You kill the supreme leader, you gone in a couple of days. But I'm saying when you continue to fight that war, it's almost like you lose the aurora of fear. You see what I'm saying? It's like you got some kind of projection of fear that you put on them with a quick, fast, decisive action that you back off of. If you keep fighting with them, these people, they got to stand there and fight for survival. Then in my opinion, that fear thing, that quick, fast, it's not there. So now, they still got fear. They just going to be smarter with their evil. They're going to be more deceptive with their evil. So now the new supreme leader, when he talks, you can't hear his voice or see his face. You don't even know if it's him. It could be AI. He got somebody talking for him, and he completely hidden. But they still going on with their terror. It's still going on. They're inflicting more and more pain by the day. As America destroy they don't have to function like a conventional army, a conventional air force, a conventional navy. They got their navy, regular ships out there laying mines in the strait. They got different objectives. America's military people need to understand this. Not really the military doing their job. It's really the politicians. The Iranians have different objectives. You can't use a big gun and a big stick with them. That's not going to work. Yeah, you might get a lick or two on them or a shot or two off, but they're going to keep coming. That's what I'm trying to say. So the Iranian supreme leader, we're going to play a second of this. We're going to get to our next story.
Hello to you from Abu Dhabi in the United Arab Emirates. And today we've heard from all three leaders fighting the Middle East war. For the first time since his appointment, we've heard from the new supreme leader of Iran. In a written statement, Mujtaba Khamenei promised to continue blocking the Strait of Hormuz, not far from our position here, a crucial shipping lane for the international oil industry. He also vowed to avenge the blood of Iranians killed in the conflict. Iran's ambassador to the UN says more than 1,300 people have died so far. And the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has given his first press conference since launching the attack that triggered the conflict 13 days ago. Donald Trump has also been speaking, saying Iran is paying a big price for being a nation of terror and hate. And here in the Gulf, there have been more strikes targeting oil infrastructure, driving up prices. Overnight, 2 tankers were struck by projectiles just a few miles south of Basra in Iraqi territorial waters, causing a huge blaze. According to UK maritime trade operations, there have been 16 reports of attacks on vessels here since the war began. And in Dubai, a British man has been detained for allegedly filming Iranian drones. It's been another dramatic day as this war approaches its third week. Iranian state television relayed Mujtaba Khamenei's words, but not his voice. Yet his statement was no less powerful in sounding a call to arms.
Dear brothers of the armed forces, the demand of the people is to continue this effective defense that is making the enemy regret its actions. The lever of blocking the Strait of Hormuz.
You hear him? When he say dear brother in arms, he's not talking about the Iranian Republican Guard. He's talking about all terrorists across the world. That's what you got to understand what you're fighting against. You fighting against the terror, the empire of terror. So he's saying, dear brothers in arms, and he's talking about being effective in creating and causing terror. You know what I'm saying? What they said, BBC reported that the UK maritime said, 16 vessels have been struck? They sitting there attacking those vessels. If you look at a map, can't wait to screen share, sorry about that. But I'm saying they're right off the coast of Iran has been preparing for this to control that strait. As long that's only a fifth of the oil in the world. And I think America released 170 million barrels of oil from its reserve. I just told my mama about that the other day. America has oil to release. The rest of the world released a couple 100 million or so barrels too. But what I'm saying, still 20% of the oil in the world comes through that little bitty strait. One tanker in, one tanker out. I think it's 39 miles total wide. 20% of the world. Iran knew about the pain that they can affect and cause on the world to chokehold that strait. They've been planning for this forever. I'm saying we thinking that, okay, Secretary Hegseth and President Trump saying, y'all haven't seen nothing yet. It's going to get worse. But America, we might not have seen nothing yet. We don't know what these devils got planned. Because obviously they got a plan and they continuing to roll with their plan. That's what I'm saying. This is going to be a forever war because you could kill 1 million of them and there's still 91 million of them left. I'm saying, what you going to do? You can't use no nuclear weapon. You can't extinguish people off the earth. You got to understand the boundaries that's on this situation. That's why you stick with the military objectives. The military objectives was to stop this terrorist organization. Stop them from demonstrating power, exuding power from beyond their borders. That was the goal. Destroy their military, destroy their navy, destroy their air force. But I'm saying the politicians' goal would be to add regime change, and that's where it's going to fall apart. You talking about hundreds of Americans being killed or died. Now we're going to be talking about thousands. I'm talking about it's going to be a bloodbath. You fighting a terrorist organization. You going on in there with your tanks. We see it in Ukraine. The conventional warfare has changed. Ukraine had changed forever. And I'm saying not only that, do they have AI and autonomous weapons? You know, China's to AI technology. China has enough technology and AI on the battlefield to rival the United States. I promise you. China has had more, even if their AI isn't as advanced as America's, they have had more time. There's more application of artificial intelligence integrated within their society and their military. I'm saying that technology easily could be passed to the Iranians, easily. We've seen Russia helping China. We've seen America helping Ukraine to see how the American AI and other AI works on the battlefield. So why wouldn't the Chinese help the Iranians just for the simple fact of testing out their artificial intelligence on the battlefield? And you see what I'm saying? They could do it against the Americans. You see what I'm saying? You don't think that's possible? It could, this situation could very much lead to a world war, and you don't hear Ghost saying that because I don't want to talk like that. Just like I ain't talking about America hitting the girls' school or whatever in Iran, because I know that's not what America is. I don't want to project certain things. But what I'm saying is the bottom line, you just need to follow the advice, Big President T. This ain't Ghost the Democrat. This is Ghost who love you. What about Joe Rogan? You can't say Joe Rogan no Democrat. He stepped over there. He jumped out there for you, man. He supported you, endorsed you, and he's backed you in most things that you've done. And I know he respects Joe Rogan. What about Tucker Carlson, man? Ted Cruz, I disagree with what you're saying about Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson does not hate the nation of Israel. Tucker Carlson is not a Zionist. He doesn't want the nation of Israel to not exist. That's not what he's saying. He's just questioning things that happen with him. What about Charlie Kirk? What about Candace Owens? I'm saying, what about Nick Fuentes? I'm saying all of the internet MAGA media people are speaking against this war, man. All of them. So I'm saying, Ghost, I didn't vote for President Trump. I'm not a Democrat. I'm an independent. But I'm saying there is no reason for America to prove that we are tough. I think that is really the only reason why America would try to change the regime in Iran. You killed the supreme leader. His son that took over. You knocked them decades back. I'm trying to tell you, if you just step back for a second, man, if Ghost has ever told you something, I'm giving you a strategy right now. If you just step back for just a second, President Trump, I'm saying you give the American people in an election year, by the way, this helps you tremendously politically, where the price of gas then went up $1 almost in less than a month. You see what I'm saying? You stop that bleeding. At the same time, I'm saying your stock market, your pride and joy, you almost lost half of the gains that you record territory, that golden age, all that stuff finna be gone during the election year. If you could just step back for a second, President Trump. I'm saying you ain't got to bring the aircraft carriers home. Just say, hey, we just signal that we accomplished our military objectives. The Iranians, they don't want to talk to them. Can you blame them? Every time they talk to them, they get attacked. We accomplished our military objectives. Go get one of those Middle Eastern countries, maybe like the Turkish, that has not been involved in that conflict, and go get them to mediate. Because I'm saying, if I was President Trump, I would want to establish not a relationship, but he could do that with the supreme leader that's there. Y'all think that he won't talk? It's very possible that regardless of what's happened and then went on, he could still talk to that supreme leader. But the first thing you got to do is stop dropping bombs. You got to get Israel to stop dropping bombs. Now Israel locked in with a conflict with Lebanon. And I'm saying America is paying a cost for this. We got to pay $1 extra a gallon for what? They weren't had no rockets pointing at us. They weren't shooting no rockets at us. This is Israel war, Senator Cruz. And I'm not no Zionist or no anti-Israel, because I'm admitting the facts. I support Israel. I love the Israeli people like I do all the citizens of the world. Innocents. We're not talking about the governments now. You might not think Bibi's so innocent. You might not think President Trump's so innocent. You see what I'm saying? But we talking about those children in that synagogue, man. Them children are innocent. We talking about those Iranian children. You don't think God loved the Iranian children too, Senator Cruz? Mike Huckabee, you think that God only loves the Israeli children? That's the God he served. He don't know nothing about the God in Genesis who sent the angel to Hagar and told him that weep not, I will make of thee a great nation. He don't know nothing about that God because he don't think my God is fair. See, his mind, God just for the Israelis and the Americans. You see what I'm saying? That's why you dropping bombs on them instead of to. Now, don't get it wrong. Now, I'm not no. What you done the first 2+ weeks or whatever, you did that, is done. You did that, it's done. But I'm saying from this point right now, what I smell is quagmire. What I smell at this point is for every war, what I smell is being suckered into putting American troops on the ground. Alexander the Great is the only one who was able to go into Iran and have success. If you could not do it in Afghanistan, you will not do it in Iran. I promise you. Listen to Ghost. So from this point on, you just spending billions for nothing. Go feed them children in the world with them billions. And stop dropping them bombs. Maybe God will bless you. That go for BB2. Go feed some children with them billions. Stop trying to act tough. Stop being the bad guy. Put the guns down. Land the planes and go sit down at a table and talk to them people, man. You need to finesse that situation. You don't know how to finesse. You done proved your point. You done punched them in the mouth. You done plucked them in the head. You done pulled them by the ear. You got them scrambling. Now get back to the chessboard with them. Listen, when President Trump first sat down and tried to make a deal with Iran, they weren't trying to hear nothing, talk about nothing, and see nothing. Nothing at all. You feel what I'm saying? So he like, okay, let's go. 3 weeks in. 3 weeks. Okay? After your third week, you know what I'm going to do? It's time to step back. It don't matter. It's not about being tough. It's we got to weather the storm. We can't leave looking weak. I can't look weak. You know I'm big tough. You know, it's not about that. We can't leave looking weak. It's not about that, bro. It's about accomplishing those objectives. You accomplish the military objectives. Use your brain, bro. I'm telling you that excessive pride that'll destroy many a nations, many a great men. They too pride. They can't handle greatness. Calm yourself down, man. You done accomplished everything you need to accomplish over there. Listen, you know a lion. He could get into a fight with a younger male lion, okay? That younger male lion know that full-grown adult finna tear him into shreds. He know that. And that full-grown adult know he finna tear him into shreds. And look, I watched the fight, and that younger, a lot of times they'll kill him. The male lion, the men will. I watched that. He had the younger lion was probably about 1.5 years. That's like he probably like a teenager, and that male lion probably about 45. Well, he about for 6 or something, like about 45 years old, and men. That's what they saying on the channel. But the younger lion, he on his back, and look, and so the bigger lion got him on his back, and he hovering over him, and he finna destroy him. And them teeth, and let out that roar that you can hear for up to 5 to 8 miles. Let him know that power, boy, I could destroy you right now. But he turned around and walked off. And the narrator made a good point. That lion has to hunt, that lion has to mate, and that lion has other battles to fight that are greater than this fight right here. Fights that he got to really defend his females and his cubs in his territory against. Sometimes if you a single male, what if 2 brothers come? He got to fight 2 brothers. Sometimes 2 brothers will come to take over his territory and mate with his females and kill his cubs to make their own cubs. So he got to fight against 2 brothers by himself. So this is what I'm saying. Why would he because he don't want the injury. He gonna kill the little younger lion, but he might get injured. He might lose an eye in the process. He ain't got no doctor to go to get well. They out there on his own. He might get stabbed in the stomach in the process of killing him. That's wisdom. He got to save that for the fights that really matter, then the really time. That's why I was talking about the munition. You don't want to spend up all your munition in this stuff. You don't want to spend a lot of resources. You don't want to shed a lot of American blood for this. This ain't no situation after 9/11. I'm saying ain't no Americans been, ain't no buildings, ain't none of that done happened. This ain't the situation to do that. You go 2-3 weeks in, it can look like a victory for you, President Trump. All you got to do is say the military objectives have been accomplished. America will be withdrawing military operations effective March 20th, 2026. Remember when I said President Trump is trying to make that call? President Trump, I'm talking about, trust what Ghost saying. March 20th, 2026, America withdrawing military operations. And in the meantime, while you work out diplomatically the the Strait of Hormuz situation, while you work your stock market, the leak in the wound start coming back, I'm saying you go get Turkey, Erdogan, or whoever, MBS, whoever you could get to the Iranians. You go get one of them Muslim leaders and you let them broker a deal and you sit back down with them while you still got time and the Democrats ain't came in and tear up everything you doing anyway. That's all that's going to happen. If a Democrat win in 2020, become president in January 20th, 29, they're going to tear up everything President Trump doing anyway. So I'm saying, go ahead, give yourself some time and space. Back on up. Try to get them at the table again. And I promise you, you get them at the table again this time, I think you'll have different results than you did last time. That's what I say, man. Because I say the only way President Trump could look like you won is if you stop right now. If you keep on going, it's going to look like you lost, just like Afghanistan. It's going, in the end, it's going to look the same way. The only way that you look like you could win is if you stop right now. Trust me. Guys, another news story to report to you, a U.S. fueling jet is down. Did the Iranians hit it? No. To me, it don't matter. I think 5 people were on it. We're going to listen to the audio. In my opinion, whether Iran shot this plane down or not, it's immaterial. If you got 5 Americans dead, you got to connect it to what's going on. This is a military plane that's refueling a military jet. They only over here because on the word of what? What's going on in Iran? So whether Iran shot it down or not is immaterial if those people are dead. You think if those 5 people on board were dead, when you go to call their parents and tell them that they did, you think they care, their parents care if the Iranians shot it down or not? They don't care how the plane down. The plane went down and they did. And it was lost during this war. Another casualty. More casualties.
I've got the right
military plane down, man. You know what I'm saying? We're going to listen to it right now. As soon as YouTube finish getting paid off that ad play. Here we go, guys.
U.S. Central Command is saying the KC-135 refueling aircraft went down in friendly airspace in Western Iraq, that it was not due to hostile fire or friendly fire, and rescue efforts are ongoing. All as Iran is unleashing new attacks on oil tankers. This fuel-laden ship bursting into a fireball, part of Iran's strategy to drive up oil prices by stopping tankers from passing through the Strait of Hormuz.
They've got no Navy, they've got no Air Force, they've got no anti-air traffic, anything. They have no systems of control. We're just riding free range over that country. And now we're going to look very strongly at the Straits. The Straits are...
Look, President Trump, if you're going to go look at the Straits, what I heard, if America could have been done control, it's a very deadly, dangerous situation playing with those Straits. President Trump, you have a choice to do that by diplomatic means. Y'all just heard him say they have no Navy, they have no Army, they have no Air Force, they have no... That was the goal of the military. You accomplished the objective. And now we just flying free reign over their country. Now you over here just spending money, wasting time, trying to look tough. So you say, okay, well, we're going to look. Listen, that's BB. BB, that's his thing. I guarantee you he directing most of that stuff that's going on. This his his enemy. Trust me, President Trump don't hate the Ayatollah or Iran like BB do. Nowhere close. President Trump halfway could care less about it. He's just doing what he got to do because he's the American president and the CIA probably pressing on him to do that. Yeah, our ghosts know. The intelligence, them long time and tell you, yeah, they just it's time for America to do this. They want peace in the Middle East as best as possible, a period of peace and prosperity. They telling President Trump, you can't get no golden age as long as you have this terrorist nation going. So I'm saying, why can't you try diplomacy again? President Trump, you're going to be in the White House past December 2028. You got plenty of time you don't even have to let the aircraft carriers leave. All you got to do is come out and announce that you're going to end American military operations. And you can negotiate with that strait, and you can negotiate the whole situation, or you could go up in that strait and you could look really bad, because I'm telling you, that's one of their main, and I'm talking about in the meantime, while you up in the straits, President Trump trying to get them straightened out, and I'm saying you shooting it out or battling it out with them Iranian terrorists, because that's what's left. While you battling it out with them Iranian terrorists, them gas prices gonna keep on shooting up. Because I'm saying he trying to go straighten out the strait. Listen to me. Y'all, I didn't come out with just saying America just trying to prove that they tough. I didn't come out saying that just because it sounds good. Because look, he going to go in there with the military to try to straighten out what's going on in the straits. That's going to make gas prices and everything go up higher. If he came out and said we ending the conflict, to me, listen, it don't matter if they still got the straits blocked. If he said that he ending the conflict, what's going to happen with the markets? That's going to react positively. That's going to affect the price of oil, especially if you release hundreds of millions of barrels of oil that'll be on the market. So that 20% of oil production that's being blocked, I'm saying if you saying that you're going to end the military operations, I'm saying the Iranians, they're going to back down some, if not all the way. That's what I'm saying. The stock market gonna rebound. I mean, it's gonna get quiet. Once you get it quiet over there, I'm telling you, that's when the comeback starts. You go over there in the straits, you might be able to pull off that objectively. I think you're gonna pay a high cost. A high cost, you're gonna lose American equipment, you're gonna lose American lives. And I'm saying you escorting tankers one by one through the strait. How many tankers pass through the strait a day? I think I heard it one of these stories, like 3,000. One in, one out. I'm saying you're going to do that all day long. How much that's going to cost logistically? And they still going to be shooting at you, picking at you. Every boat, they boats passing through. But every boat that's going in and out of there, they hitting them. They don't want you in and out, they hitting them. I'm saying, so President, he said, y'all just heard him, that the next objective is to go into the strait. And I'm saying, you trying to fix that? I'm telling you how to fix it. This is how you fix this. We are announcing that the American military objectives in Iran has been completed successfully. It's a wrap. You said just like that. Because the whole objective, the geopolitical objective probably will never be complete. And even if it is, it ain't going to be complete right now. And I understand that. So that means that all y'all haters, it's a balance. It's a chance America might have to go back in there. But I'm saying today, how we can handle this situation in the most reasonable and logical way is to give them a chance to come back to the table. I don't care what they saying right now. Stop dropping bombs. That's what you do. You telling Putin to stop dropping bombs. You trying to end a war with Ukraine. So this, I'm trying to end the war with you now. You the bully, not just Putin. You the bully. You didn't accomplish the military jet. He just said everything was destroyed. Stop dropping bombs. And then see if they want to talk to you then. If you get somebody else to go in there and talk to them and you sincere about getting a deal and getting peace and getting to this golden age, because you so far from a golden age.
The straits are in great shape. We've knocked out all of their boats.
On Iranian state media today, a presenter reading what she said was the first message from Iran's new supreme leader, Ayatollah Mojtaba Khamenei, who said the lever of closing the Strait of Hormuz must still be used. But neither his image nor his voice were broadcast. And Iran isn't only lashing out at sea. New video showing a high-rise in Dubai hit by an Iranian drone, and fires raging after an Iranian strike on a fuel depot in Bahrain. It's all leaving Iran increasingly isolated. 135 nations voted at the UN to condemn Iran for its attacks on Gulf countries and Jordan. Iran today also pulled out of the upcoming World Cup in the US. President Trump responded, the team is welcome, but, quote, I really don't believe it's appropriate that they be there for their own life and safety. 6 members of Iran's women's soccer team were recently granted asylum in Australia after players flashed help signs on the team's bus. But Iran does have one ally that is jointed in open war, the Lebanese militia Hezbollah, firing more than 100 rockets at Israel. And one of those Hezbollah rockets landed right here in
100 rockets. You see what I'm saying? You destroy all their missiles shooting capabilities, all of their boats, all of their air force. This is a terrorist nation. So one of their proxy armies, Hezbollah, got 100 rockets. They are supplying Hezbollah with the rockets. This is the mother nation. They got these. So if Hezbollah then fired 100 rockets, once you take all their missiles, you take all their air force, I'm telling you, what you've seen in Afghanistan is going to be 1,000 times worse. This is where the ideology, y'all don't understand in Muslim. Look, I need to do a stream on this, and I need to freshen up on the Sunnis and the Shiites. I'm saying the Iranians for that militant, hate America, Islam, the Iranian, the Electoral, the leader of the terrorism, that's what you got to understand. You are fighting the kingdom of terror. So what you seen in Afghanistan, what you see with Hezbollah, what you see with the Houthis, what you see with Hamas, it's going to be 92 million times worse in Iran. Because Hezbollah is not, the Houthis, they just in the Gulf and Hamas, but you talking about the motherland of this terrorism, 92 million of them. So you get their missiles all gone. Like I said, they got rockets shooting 100 rockets into Israel. That I'm saying one of them weapons, munitions hit that building and it destroyed that building. Oh, you care because it was a rocket or because it was a missile? Oh, we destroyed they, but they still firing, they still shooting. That's what you got to realize. What you trying to, so now we just flying free, we flying free reign over their country. Nobody cares but you. That's irrelevant. What's the objectives? The objective isn't to look tough and look powerful and look strong against an opponent that everybody knew you could beat before you went and fought. You spending all this money, time, and energy. If it's not about looking tough, what's the objective? Please don't say you talking about putting no boots on the ground. Please don't do that. That's suicide. I can't support President Trump. I will not be able to support you at all through that. Not even for 5 seconds. Because I know what it's finna do to you. And you should know too. If somebody in the CIA advising you to do it, they don't care about how it's going to affect you politically. Them people still going to be at the CIA when the Democrat in the office, and they going to be trying to get the Democrat to do something. They doing this for America. They don't care nothing about no Republican. They don't care nothing about no Trump legacy. They do that for America. That's who the CIA getting down for. As long as that red, white, and blue winning, they don't care about no Americans paying no higher gas prices. Their goal is to keep America safe and to keep America a top power in the world. They got different objectives. Iran got different objectives. American intelligence, the Israeli intelligence, the American political. Get on out of there, man, President Trump. I'm trying to tell you, protect yourself. So, guys, we got a U.S. tanker that went down, unfortunately. According to U.S. Central Command, a KC-135 refueling aircraft. It went down in friendly airspace in western Iraq, and it was not brought down by hostile or friendly fire, but I don't think none of that matters because it's just a cost of war. These things that happen in war. And what President Trump said he want to address next is the Iranians are blocking oil tankers from moving through the Hormuz Strait, but their tankers are still passing through. You say, Ghost, how you know that? I'm about to tell you. Y'all give me real quick. I'm going to play the last audio for you. And after I play this audio for you, I'll tell you guys just a little bit more information. We've been streaming for exactly an hour and a half. Then I'll jump down in the comments and see what we talking about. CBS News has learned that despite the war, for the first 9 days in March, Iran exported about 30% more oil than the first 9 days in February. Iran is exporting a third. Listen to me. Ain't nobody else. I'm here. CBS reporting this, but I ain't hearing this primarily on mainstream media. This takeout. This is this is coming from Face the Nation. This is a CBS report though. So Iran, even though they closed the strait, they exporting 30% more oil. So they are financing this war still. They're still financing their war. Still selling. They ain't just selling oil. They selling more oil to get more money, to get more weapons. While they got the strait for the rest of the world closed, they selling their oil, more oil.
Joins us from Tel Aviv. Matt, tell us what you know. Major, I think what we're seeing develop in the Middle East right now is Iran resilient, Iran able to start to take the offensive here, and that's what we're seeing in the Strait of Hormuz. They have attacked, I don't know, my count, 5-6 ships over the past 24 hours or so, essentially paralyzing the Strait of Hormuz. And
every ship that try to move through there, they attack it. They got mines laid. You got to understand, this is 39 miles, and I'm saying and this is their country. Pretty much, it's like this. It's like you trying to come up one of the Great Lakes from Canada, and America is hostile territory you fighting a war with. So if you guys know something about the Great Lakes, I'm talking about they in all the states in America. In Michigan, you could be on land on both sides of the Great Lakes. And you trying to ride through there, and I'm talking about they waiting on you with them rockets. You're going to lose a lot of ships. And if they take that stand, which the supreme leader, he said, we must control the Strait of Hormuz. They know you destroyed 100% of their Navy. They know that. They don't care. They know you bigger. They know you stronger. You trying to prove your dominance and that you superior. And the world already know America is dominant and superior. So you just proving a nothing. You trying to prove something that everybody already knows. Iran knows this. China know this, and Russia know this. We know America is completely superior to Iran. They ain't on that. They trying to keep that. They trying to control that strait. And they saying you come through that strait, you gonna have to pay a bloody price, a heavy price. Because they know if they control that strait, then they kind of controlling oil prices across the entire world. That's crazy, ain't it? You see why no other president wanted to try this. So I'm saying, if you go try to fight them over that strait, though, I'm talking about the price that you're going to pay. You sending American lives in for the to be slaughtered like sheep. Them people just sitting there. It's like you going through, you walking through a maze, and they could be picking you off from both sides, and you just walking through a strip, 39 miles now. You sending them battleships 39 miles. That's not that wide from land to land. They ain't got to be in the air. They got drones. They could see stuff too. And their only goal is to hit any kind of ship, anything that's coming through that strait. And they know that strait way better than you. They probably could navigate that strait without GPS and all that other technology. Been doing it since they were children. This their homeland. I'm saying that's what you up against. That is a bloody and a heavy price to pay. Not just the finances, the cost of American lives. And while you're doing it, the stock market gonna drop further. The price of oil gonna go up higher. I don't care how many barrels of oil you release. I think that's a bad strategy. I'm saying trying to control that strait, I mean, that might be the death of a superpower. Because that's I'm telling you, you not getting no resistance, is what I'm trying to say, from you destroying their navy. They not really resisting you. You destroyed their capabilities they're not resisting you with that. You destroyed that. They not resisting you with that. You go through that strait, I think that's when you gonna start getting the first gun-to-gun conflict. They're gonna resist you in that strait. You know, Ghost be knowing what he be talking about. You ain't got to listen to me if you know to. I don't need to talk to no generals. I don't need to. You talking to common sense. If I talk to the generals, I give you more common sense. It's common sense. I'm listening to what, just like in any situation, I'm listening to BB, I'm listening to President Trump, I'm listening to Secretary Hegseth, and now the Supreme Leader of Iran. And he said his number one objective pretty much is that strait. Everything that moved through that strait, they destroying it. And at the same time, they destroying all your ships moving through that strait. They done put 30% more oil through that strait. What's that saying? They don't want the strait shut down. They trying to fight to control the strait, because they control the Strait of Hormuz. They control our oil prices in the world. And that's one of the things that Iran is fighting this war. Stock market, they want to get Americans dead, American blood, and they want to control that strait. So I'm saying, if you going after one of their main three objectives, you think you pay the price right now. Get ready. You ain't seen nothing yet. Get ready. They're not going to resist the F-35 dropping a bomb for how many tens of thousands of feet? How many thousands of feet? You see what I'm saying? This ain't no F-35 dropping a bomb situation. You can get air support with them battleships, but you don't know where they at shooting that rocket at you. All they need is to cause chaos. And I'm saying, bruh, like, they probably, you have one battleship, they probably gonna shoot at you about 20, 30 rockets, one battleship. You gotta dodge 30 rockets. You don't know where they coming from. And they got mines in the sea that they done planted. You don't know, bro. Listen, the objectives for the American military, they had their objectives. The objectives for the Iranians, they had their objectives too. Your objectives not the same. That's why the objectives in the Strait of Hormuz, President Trump, are about to collide for the first time. They're about to collide for the first time. Really, the Iranians, they focus really mainly on Israel. They trying to dump on Israel. That's their mortal enemy. That's why all those over 100 rockets, Hezbollah alone, Hezbollah and the Iranians are coordinating and attacking Israel all at once. Raining on them, dumping on them. That's really their mission. As far as the fight, they want to just BB, and that's why BB needs the Americans, because if Iran wasn't weakened, I'm not saying Israel couldn't maybe beat them in that conflict, but I'm saying they'll pay a heavy price. Iran's 10 times bigger than them, man. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to make y'all, like, we trying to get clout. We trying to look tough. The goal ain't to look tough. The goal is to accomplish the military objectives and to get back to diplomacy. That's the goal. Accomplish the military objectives and to get back to diplomacy. That's what you did with Maduro. You look tough, you went and snatched Maduro. Good, you tough. Give you a round of hand. Now, don't stay over there in Venezuela. That's stupid. Get back to diplomacy. Dulce Rodriguez, she stepped up talking stupid. Marco and them talked to her, and she got the point. And the diplomacy worked. Lives were saved, and hopefully the Venezuelans' lives will become better as they make billions of dollars off the oil. That's what I'm saying. Strait of Hormuz, right now, Iran is controlling it. President Trump wants that control, but it's going to cost you a heavy price. A real heavy price. That's what I'm saying. A heavy price. Gas is up 30% in 2 to 3 weeks since the war started. Going on to the third week. My source is artificial intelligence. The national average rose to approximately per gallon, making a sharp increase of over 13%. That's in 1 week. Weekly increase. Weekly. Regional difference in California prices surpassed $6 per gallon due to reliance, or $5, on imports and refinery shutdown. Percentage raise. Gases saw an increase of approximately 17% within the first week of the war. The context, the price increase is among the sharpest in recent history compared to previous energy stocks. You're looking at up to 30% higher for price of gas. If you try to go into the Strait and fight that war, you might get up to 50% higher. Nationally, gas is about to touch $4 a gallon. It's not stopping. It's still raising. This stuff got a mind of its own. That's what we're talking about. Stocks continue to drop. My source for this is CNN. The Dow Jones Industrial Average has dropped approximately 7% from its record high of over 50,000 points. 7% of the entire Dow. That's half of the gains that President Trump has made since he's been president. It touched 50,000 points February 10th, like I predicted, and now it's below 47,000 mid-March. Below 47,000. And it's driven by volatility, from the Iranian conflict and rising oil prices. The index experienced significantly daily dips, including a 1,000-point drop in early March, man. That's the price you got to pay. And so we talked about pretty much all the news stories going on in Iran today. You talk about the American lives. You talk about the price of the war. You talk about how it's affecting us as Americans and everybody across the world, citizens of the world, paying higher gas prices. Though higher gas prices mean those 18-wheelers are paying more for gas. Republicans don't believe in government regulation? Fine. Like AOC said, the people gonna get greedy. Oh, man, we got to pay more gas for the 18-wheelers. That means that all of our steaks and all of our chicken costs a little bit more money, so we got to charge the customer a little bit more money. The distribution companies charging more. Every link and chain in that logistics chain is gonna cost more. The shippers costing more, the receivers costing pay, and then so that means when they take that on them 18-wheelers, taking it to them stores. And them stores paying more money for the products, for chicken and steaks and lettuce and potatoes. When they paying more, then guess what they going to do? They going to charge you more. So not only are you paying more at the gas pump, just let it keep percolating. Go up in the Strait, President Trump, and with the week or two, you're going to be paying more for everything. This is in an election year with a president who promised to bring down the cost of goods in an election year, fighting a war when we were not attacked. Man, guys, y'all don't see it. What's finna happen? I don't know if the Republicans see it. Humble Pie, what's up, baby? I don't know if the Republicans can see it, man. You see what I'm saying? What's finna happen? November's coming, guys. And the American people, they don't forget. They're not going to forget. They might forgive you, but they're not going to forget. And I'm telling you, bloodbath. Think about the last time what President Trump lost, 41 seats. The Democrats, I think they flipped 41 seats in Congress, if I'm not mistaken. Somebody could fact check me real quick. That's in 2018. I'm saying, did President Trump have a war that he fought? It wasn't no war. He lost them 40 seats. It wasn't no affordability crisis. Joe Biden ain't got elected yet. 2022 ain't came yet. COVID hadn't happened yet. So he didn't have an affordability crisis. He didn't have no wars. He had a little bit of terrorists, but not as bad. He lost 41 seats. So I'm saying, why wouldn't I think almost every seat that's up for, he could lose them all? Wipeout, record losses in midterm elections. We ain't even talking about immigration no more. I'm sure Democrats across the country gonna run ads with Renee Good and Ellis Peretti. We're gonna start hearing about their names again come October. We ain't even talking about a lot of problems that's happening domestically in America. The Epstein files. So I'm saying, you focusing on Iran. What's going on with the Epstein file? I don't even know. We ain't talking about it no more. We talking about what's going on with Iran. Everything focuses on Iran. I'm saying President Trump could go out there in Kentucky. He could go to Ohio. You know, he could try to, and I'm saying, I don't think that's going to help you, President Trump. While you over here fighting this war, you going to campaign against Thomas Massey. I think what'll end up happening, you're going to cause him to win. You're going to make the people who really don't care if he get elected or not, and his supporters, you're going to make all of them come out to vote against what you got. President, he probably, while this war going on, I wouldn't be going out there trying to endorse nobody. You know what I'm saying? Because, I mean, he out there and your supporters, they showing up, your supporters. But I promise you, the enemy are right outside the gates. I don't even know. I don't know if they have protesters out there while he going. I don't know what's going on. I'm not checking on that. It's too much going on in these situations. But I'm telling you, President Trump, you got a lot of people who are not for this at all. At all. And although I was for a short, limited action, I told you prolonged. I said longer than 3 weeks, President Trump. That third week now, if you don't listen to ghosts, President Trump, it ain't about being tough, man. It's about being smart. I'm talking about 21 days. On day 21, the American military objective in Iran has been successfully completed. We out. Oh, yeah, we still got the aircraft carriers out. Oh, yeah, we still protecting Israel from getting bombarded by Iran and Hezbollah. We still doing that. But I'm saying, as far as American involvement in this war, like we fighting an open war, now we ain't going to do that. That's going to make the Iranians chill down and calm down. The Iranians, look, you stop dropping bombs, just like you tell Putin. That's how you end wars, by stop dropping bombs. That's how you end them. Or you could keep fighting, but you know the price that there is to pay. What if gas get up to $5 nationally? Not just in California, $5 nationally. It'll probably be $7 or $8 in California. $5 nationally for a gallon of gas. What you think that's going to do to President Trump? President Trump, that's going to be you, Mr. Cheap Gas. You ain't thinking about this, President Trump, because the voters only going to remember the last, just like with Joe Biden. And you, Mr. Cheap Gas, President Trump, that's what we know you as, Mr. Cheap Gas. Every time you've been president, the gas been cheap. Every time. Drill, baby, drill. and you got $5 gallons of gas. And if America, see, this is the difference, President Trump, this is what you're not seeing, the difference with President Bush. America was somewhat attacked. America was attacked. His response to that attack, but I'm saying in this situation, Iran didn't attack America. Ain't nothing happened to America. So it's like, it really is a war of choice. Humble Pie says, good morning. Keep your, I don't know what that means. He said that's what Biden had $6 in cheap stocks. Maybe he did, but Biden isn't the president. Joe Biden is not the president, Humble Pie. That's what I'm saying. President Trump is the president. And with President Trump being the president, he's Mr. Cheap Gas. Joe Biden ain't never claimed to be Mr. Cheap Gas. He ain't never claimed to declare war on energy. Joe Biden ain't never, none of that. That's President Trump claimed to get the prices down on day one. Joe Biden ain't got no midterm election coming up. Y'all need to wake up, Republicans. Joe Biden ain't on no ballots. He ain't got no Republicans on no ballots. Joe Biden ain't finna get impeached again. That's what I'm trying to tell you. So you saying Joe Biden's name, that's in vain. You need to worry about that $5 gas for Mr. Cheap Gas. President Trump, Mr. Cheap Gas. Ever since that man been president, gas been cheap. Yeah, Joe Biden had almost $6 a gallon of gas. Yeah, he did. Who arguing with that? Not President Trump. He Mr. Cheap Gas. Now, you see what the voters did to the $6 gallon of gas, Joe Biden. What you think they're going to do to President Trump? WTF says sleeper cells are the new fear, race baiting. Out of the 10 shooting dailies, one will be Muslim at some point. Yeah, maybe so. WTF, it probably is race baiting. It could be. You know what I'm saying? Who knows? But I'm saying the Iranians, we said this from the beginning, though, WTF. That is a terrorist state. They believe in terrorism and reigning terror. They believe in that. I'm saying the best thing to me to do is to try to come up with some kind of solution or some kind of resolution or some kind of deal with the terrorists. Can you make a deal with the devil? You might not be able to. You can't drop a nuclear weapon on them. You can't extinguish 92 million people off the face of the earth. You can't do that. So what you going to do? It's a complex situation. You want to be president, deal with it. Ghost got you. I'm telling you how to do it. When have I ever said something that it happened the next day and it turned out wrong for y'all? It ain't gonna turn out wrong for y'all. What Speaker Johnson, he probably realized, y'all know I like Speaker Johnson, boy. I like that boy a lot, personally. Politics is different than personal. He from Louisiana, I'm from Mississippi, a good old boy. Real talk, he a cool dude too. Speaker Johnson would be my dude. I'll run with him. He seemed like he cool. I always kind of was fond of him for some reason, personally. But you know, Speaker Johnson, him telling old Tony Gonzalez he need to bow out the race on the Republican side, that helped them. It helped y'all Republicans more than y'all could see. You getting that dirt off of you. You getting that grime off of you. You don't want that grime on you. And I'm saying he was involved. He stepped in some doo-doo. So you got an election right now. Get you a clean Republican and let that doo-doo get on down. You see what I'm saying? He's not clean. You want to keep your party clean. My point is what I'm trying to tell, it helps. It helps. If you follow and listen to Ghost, we have accomplished, within 21 days, we have accomplished all of the military objectives. Their Navy, decimated. Air defenses, decimated. Air Force, decimated. They cannot project power like they could beyond their borders. We're going back to the aircraft carriers. Allow the stock market to try to rebound. Allow the gas prices to try to start going down. President Trump announced an end to that campaign, them gas prices immediately, regardless of what's going on in the strait. The reason you having the problems is people are scared, man. They think you went locked into another forever war in the Middle East. And T. Claus says America just punched another country in the mouth and somehow they're going to make a deal with them. Man, why not do that? That's the way you do it. It worked with Maduro. It worked with Venezuela, bruh. Why not punch him in the mouth and make a deal with him? Tell me Ghost don't know what he's talking about. And it's not like this. It's not like I'm bro, this is part of being genius. I'm not saying what President Trump did in Venezuela was his idea. He could be Secretary of Except who knows? The military, that's how they get down. Ain't nobody try to take credit. They just let President Trump say. But whatever the military, whoever they got that scheme they had with Venezuela, that's what works. I'm telling you. Punch him in the mouth, back up, and then bro, I'm talking about the sweetest. And President Trump, you could do it right now. Y'all went in there and punched him. It's harder to punch Iran than to punch Venezuela. So it took you with Iran 3 weeks and how many billions and the oil and the stock market, that's the cost. And American lives lost, that was the cost. Okay, we went and punched them. That's the punch. The 3 weeks in Iran is like the one night of snatching Venezuela. Maduro in Venezuela. That's the punch. What you did in Venezuela. So you back up. It's going to be a little more difficult, not as easy. Israel involved in this situation too. It's more complex. So what you do is you back up after you punch him in the mouth, and then we want to talk. Come back to the table. Let's run that conversation back one more time. Let's run it back come May. You know, it'll take about to May. He go get Erdogan, Turkey's leader, one of those. The reason why I'm not saying the Qataris, because they had a relationship with the Iranians or any of these other nations, because Iran then been shooting rockets at the military bases, drones, you know what I'm saying, hitting their nations, their oil companies. So they might be like kind of mad at Iran. You saw United Nations, 135 nations that condemned them. So they might be kind of mad at Iran. But I'm saying what President Trump could do right from here is he needs to get back to the negotiating table. Think about, you got all the leverage, Big President T, if you could get them back to the table. They not going to say they want to talk to you right now. Ignore that. You dropping bombs on them still. Stop dropping the bombs for a second. Let your economy rebound. Let your economy, for a second, I didn't say now like it's the end of it. This is a strategy. I'm advising him. This is how ghosts get down. This is how I learn. I get smart. I watched them in Venezuela. What they did in Iran, okay, that ain't nothing spectacular. He just deal with the military. We gonna go and get rid of their ability to work out of these nuclear sites. Well, you should have got those centrifuges, but you didn't. So you destroyed the nuclear site. So we know tomorrow they're not going to be able to launch no nuclear weapon. Okay, you did what you went to do. End of the story. I don't care. Nobody could be against it because it accomplished the objective. Short, sweet, and quick. This is something different, Ghost. First of all, we owe that supreme leader that's in power. He got to die. So for his death, it's a price to pay. We got to be there a little longer. 3 weeks, I said from the beginning, I realized that the wisdom, no prolonged conflict. I predict what it would do if you stay there too long. So we accomplished the military objectives. We done everything we were supposed to do. Now, knowing we want to talk, you don't have to announce it right now. Just go and stop dropping bombs. Let Netanyahu, and then tell him to focus on Lebanon. Stop over here for a second. I want to do something. Go get your intermediary or your negotiator or your arbitrator, your mediator. If it's Turkey, whoever the Iranians would talk to, you got a new Ayatollah, you might have a new little situation. And then you go back to the negotiating table from this spot right here. You can't go to the negotiating table with them in November. If it take you that long, he gonna be and forgot the punch that you punched him in the mouth. You got to go talk to him while the punch still fresh, just like you did Dorsey Rodriguez. I done snatched Maduro. So in the back of her mind, y'all, when she going to sleep every night, she sleeping like every noise in the middle of the night, she jumping up and hear every noise she hear. She hears something sound like a helicopter wing, she gonna start praying to God, asking him for salvation. That's how scared she is. They seen what he just did to Maduro. You got in the mid, right after you punch him, you see what I'm saying? It's time to back up now, and you need to get that diplomacy and go talk to them again from this point right here, with that still fresh in their mind. Go talk to them again with them two aircraft carriers. Don't move the aircraft carriers. Keep them there. You ain't even got to say nothing. The aircraft carriers stay there. They know what time it is. And I guarantee you they're going to talk a lot more or a little bit more favorable. If you got to kill the Iranian foreign minister, get him out the way. I'm saying, really, the people who coming to talk to you this time, they need to be all new people. And their predecessors are dead. And you killed him. The Ayatollah, he's new. You killed his daddy. You feel me? The foreign minister or whatever, see, he still survived. You got to bump him real quick. Get him out the way. And he might still be talking that old stuff or still thinking we don't want him he survived it. You see what I'm saying? You don't want him thinking about what happened that last time where get him. You want all new people coming to the diplomatic meetings now, all new Iranians. So each last one of them know what happened to their successor. They got killed. We sat down, we tried to sit down with you. And it didn't work out. And every last one of them who was in here talking to us before you, sir, they got killed. Okay, so now come back to the table and bring all new Iranians, and you had us. I'm telling you, I know. You seen it happen in Venezuela. Y'all the one gave me the idea. Bro, I'm just sitting back there watching the situation. Oh, yeah, and then that's a female too. Oh, yeah, baby girl, she gonna do anything you want her to do. Hey, she gonna be like, hey, they killed Maduro, that was wrong. Yeah, she gonna say that. She gonna say that. You know, the Venezuela army's still there. They're a little bit tougher. You know what I'm saying? They're ready to shoot some bullets with them. They know they gonna get killed and lose. But you know that's their manhood. You know that's their homeland. You gonna sacrifice yourself for your homeland even if you know you gonna lose. You see what I'm saying? So I'm saying, yeah, man, that's the best way to do it, though, man. I'm not saying tuck your tail and run. I'm not saying finish the political objectives, but if the military objectives are complete, what I'm saying is step back and start talking. That's what I believe in. Because I'm saying you in a fight and you on top punching him, but he ain't quit fighting. And the whole time he getting licks on you. Remember the lion with the baby lion? You could destroy him, but you might end up with one eye, or he might get one of your testicles. I know that sounds grotesque, but we should be all grown in here, one of your testicles. Because if he get a male lion testicle, he can't, what use is he as a male lion? He can't produce offspring for them females. And that's what makes them strong, is having cubs that help them when they hunt, make their pride stronger. Having daughters stay with them for the rest of their life. So they need the males to protect them and their cubs and to help their cubs. And that male lion, he knows that, yeah, I'll win this fight, but I might lose something that I might ride with that scar on me for the rest. I'm telling you, them male lions who are in hostile territory, and he been protecting his cubs and his family and his females, those male, they wear the scars. You could tell them, boy, they kill us. Not just from fighting other male lions, from killing buffaloes. I'm talking about, I seen lions hunt giraffes and elephants. But you know you got more fights to fight and more battles to fight. Don't put all your eggs in a basket here in Iran. Spend all your munitions. You know the world is on fire. Yeah, President Trump said, hey, y'all, we need y'all crank up we need more bullets. We need more. You should have been done that. There ain't no reason I should ever hear America short on any kind of bullets, weapons, nothing. You should have been done that. You see 7, 8 conflicts in Asia and this the United States, you know eventually we gonna end up in something, fighting something. You know that. Biden was over there trying to help Ukraine. We always helping Israel. Israel don't have as many Patriot missiles. They spending them all. I'm saying y'all need to reconsider, man. This ain't about being tough. You fighting the terror. What's up, Malu? She said y'all don't forget to like the channel, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, guys. If y'all want to donate to the channel, hit that button with that $sign in it, man. Let's see. Trump had a concept, but not an actual plan for war with contingencies. I agree with that, Matrix. I agree with that 1,000%. I think that's exactly what goes on. Like, that's what I'm saying. The military objectives and the political objectives for this war are completely different. Completely different. And that's what's going on. I think so there's different ways that you define a terrorist. You define a domestic terrorist, or you define I don't want to say a geopolitical terrorist, but the ideology defines the terrorism. But to define, just to give you the legal definition of the word, since you asked, Malu, baby, I'll do that for you right now. The legal definition of terrorist. A terrorist is an individual or member of a group who uses premeditated, unlawful violence or the threat of violence to intimidate governments or civilians, often to advance political, ideological, or religious objectives. So they're using premeditated violence or the threat of violence. That's what makes them a terrorist. That's what Iran is. Terror across the world, chaos across the world. That's Iran. I'm saying they doing that before, and I'm saying when you attack them, that's what you can expect, terror to be unleashed. Not that same President Trump talking about sleeper cells. He's just making you guys aware of that. We know that about Iran. He felt like he needed to deal with the situation. You dealt with it, President Trump. This is how you win. Because past 3 weeks, y'all know what Ghost predicted. Past 3 weeks, boy, I'm telling you, I think it's a L. Anything he do past 3 weeks, I think it's a L. It's not about America being strong, just like Afghanistan, just like Iraq too. It's the same thing, history repeating itself. Matrix says they turn to war to solve their problems. I don't know. It kind of seems like that, though, man, in 2026. But unfortunately, I think it'll get worse before it gets better, because I think the world will end with nuclear weapons. Mankind has always turned to war. Mankind, I mean, that's just life. Sometimes you have to do that, though. You gotta fight against evil. What I'm saying, what I believe will happen is, I believe that eventually this Iran situation will get solved. You see what I'm saying? And I think eventually, like, you know what I'm saying, there'll be a period or a time of peace and prosperity. You see what I'm saying? And I think, you know, about at the end of that peace and prosperity, I think that's when we're going to get into Bible revelations. You know what I'm saying? The rapture and then the tribulation. After the end, the Bible is clear. When they say peace and prosperity, that's when the end comes. And I think whenever the ending of the world is going to be Middle East. What I believe is after this situation gets settled, you're going to have peace and prosperity across the whole world. Everything's going to be quiet. That's when the Antichrist is going to come up. That's when they're going to build a temple. He's going to start setting up. And then you're going to have, due to the Antichrist, or I'm not going to call him an Antichrist. I'm going to say it like the Bible says it. The one who resides in the temple and exalts himself above God. Due to this guy and his reign, they're going to surround the nation of Israel. The whole world, Gog and Magog, going to lead the world surrounding the nation of Israel. And Israel going to fire a nuclear war. It's going to end with nuclear war. And if you read Revelations, what John was seeing was tanks and F-35s and nuclear weapons. That's what he was seeing. Yep, that's what I believe. So, I mean, we grinding into that area. I think they're going to come to a conclusion of this conflict. And President Trump, we're going to see for a little while the fruits of his labor. For a little while, I believe there will be peace, like real peace lasting peace in the Middle East. Like no guns, no bullets, prosperity. I think the people are going to think that the conflict between the Muslims and the Jews and the Christians is over, but it'll never be over. And I think in Israel, that deep-seated hatred against Israel, it's not going to take root for another 15 years or so. Because I think people are going to start passionately hating Israel. I think that's what, I'm not saying Tucker, he hates Israel, but questioning Israel, that's how it starts. They're questioning them. Some push it further than questioning them. You know what I'm saying? Like Nick Fuentes or like Candace, they might push it further and they might say the Israelis do evil or evil. But I mean, every nation to me does evil things. You know what I'm saying? I think it's going to hit the fan whenever the Antichrist rises up, or let me stop saying Antichrist, how the Bible talk about in Thessalonians that evil one who exalts himself over God, when he sits in that temple, you see what I'm saying? That's whenever you could get ready. When that temple is finished being built, and by the time if that man gets to that temple, and you start seeing a figure in that temple, that you might as well. That's when it's popping. You there, we there, because that's when those peace times gonna start coming to an end, and the tribulation gonna start. So you're gonna get peace while he building that temple. And you're going to get peace while, for a while, real peace, a lasting peace. That's the golden age President Trump trying to usher in. You can't do it until you get rid of the Iranians. You can't everybody can't get on the same page. That's how you get the Middle East on the same page. Get rid of Iranians. When that's the world order. You know what I'm saying? The last world order. Everything going to come together. It's going to get peaceful. Everything quiet. Everybody marrying like those scriptures, the trade like those scriptures, you know what I'm saying? I don't think this war right here is the end of the world war. I don't believe that. There ain't no temple been built. That's what's going to cause, as a Christian, what I believe God to end the world is when his people start praying to a false God. Y'all just got to understand scripture. God know, man. Like your parents know, like the mother lion know the little they over there fighting and scratching. They ain't studying that. Like your mama, when you and your sister, your brother, she be so tired of y'all. She didn't let y'all argue. She done win. I done seen mamas there. Then you talking about 15 and 16-year-old and they sitting there arguing. She done went, fixed her coffee. She back there on the back porch. She done went somewhere where she can't hear them fussing. They looking for her. She hiding from them. She don't care. She know she used to them fighting. She don't care nothing about. That's how God about man, bro. But then when you a man come and try to exalt himself, that's one of Thou shalt not worship none. That's what he gonna step back. He gonna let y'all have it. He gonna let the evil one have it, the Satan have it. And the Bible talk about that man exalt himself in the temple. That's when the tribulation gonna come. Yeah. Yep. And he gonna be right there in Israel. And the whole world gonna get tired of that, and they gonna have Israel surrounded, about to destroy Israel. And the nuclear weapons gonna end it. And we gonna be in that next world. God promised us a new heaven and a new earth where he gonna reign. Ain't no Adam and Eve, no test. Ain't no President Trumps. Ain't no king. Ain't none of that. It's gonna be King God, King Jesus. King Jesus gonna reign. Yeah, that's what my Bible say, man. Plans to rebuild a city in Palestine, I'm sure they are. Within those plans, that's where they're gonna come up with. I'm telling y'all, that's the goal. BB gonna rebuild that temple. That's the goal. Or you could say the point of the whole war. I wouldn't say that, but that's the goal. BB gonna rebuild that temple. They rebuild that temple. That's what's in the scripture. We went over this the other day. They rebuild that temple. When that man get in that temple and start exalting himself higher than God, I don't care what nobody else say. That's when they. I'm talking about in Jerusalem. He could be in Baghdad saying he higher than God. He could be in a lot of places. God talk about Babylon being rebuilt and stuff like that. I'm saying the world is going to make that turn and that change with that AI after, because I'm saying Iran could be a very rich and successful and prosperous nation if they stop trying to fight Israel. And if they just be like Saudi Arabia. I think that's what, for a little while, it's going to look like that. Like Iraq is. They're just you know what I'm saying? Just quiet. Just a nation over there. Whatever's going on within their borders, just keep it within their borders and let it be what it be. But I think Iran, because of the oil, they'll become a rich and prosperous nation again. But, I mean, in order for us to get to peace or get to the end times, this has to happen. You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying you could do it without fighting a 20-year war. You put boots on the ground. I'm saying before we get to that peacetime, because really after Afghanistan, we ain't had no peace. After Afghanistan, Putin went into Ukraine. You see what I'm saying? And so America, we didn't fight Ukraine during Joe Biden's term. You know, Joe Biden did it to where, you know, he let the Israelis fight that war. He just helped the Israelis. He ain't finna send no Americans to do nothing. He let the Ukrainians, he just helped the Ukrainians. Ain't no Americans gonna do nothing. And the CIA sat there and waited, and they're going to make sure President Trump, because they know with President Trump, they're going to be able to execute, get off everything they want to get off. Seemed like they would have done with Joe Biden, but he ain't no Republican. So whoever Joe Biden had with that ghost pen, you know what I'm saying? And I'm sure they had a good relationship. President Obama got a good relationship with the CIA, but they waited for President Trump to get it off. They couldn't pull it off. President Obama would have never did nothing like that. He would have argued them vehemently. He thinks that's too dangerous. But President Trump, you know, they found a moment to do it. And, you know, they over there. But I'm saying this is how you win. Because I don't see how you win staying over there. Because you could destroy everything they got. As long as they could shoot a gun at you, you ain't won. That's what you don't understand. You could destroy everything they got. As long as they shoot a gun at you, you ain't won. You cannot wipe them off the face of the earth. This ain't no Old Testament. God ain't tell you to go kill the women, the children, the sheep, the dogs, and the goats. This ain't what God ain't telling you to do. None of that to the Iranians today. He might have told them to do that back in the Old Testament, but this the New Testament. We under the order of Jesus. God, BB still under that Old Testament law. He might be thinking God told him to kill everything. BB, that's the Old Testament. This the New Testament. Jesus ain't telling you to kill every Iranian woman, child, goat, dog. That ain't none of that, man. That's not the move. We're not going to be able to do that. You got 135 nations against Iran. You finna have 200 nations against Israel. You can't do that. Don't make the wrong moves. Don't make yourself the bad guy. Let them stay the bad guy. You feel that? Right now, Iran looks like the bad guy. At first, Israel looked bad. America got into it, and now Iran did. That's good job, Marco. You need to keep on doing that. Turn every nation of the world, turn them against Iran. How the United Nations continually turn them against them. That's how you break them diplomatically. I'll back out militarily if I was you. 21 days, back on down. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Israel could keep hitting a couple of targets for a couple of days that you found necessary. You know what I'm saying? If y'all forget something or miss something as y'all on y'all way out, because Ghost trying to rush y'all out of Iran. Ghost want to rush us out of here, boss. Yeah, y'all, we need to get on down. You know what I'm saying? You could come back. You know? You could come back. But right now, we need to get on down. If you guys haven't liked the video, go ahead, double tap the video for me. Subscribe to the channel, man. Make sure y'all hit that notification bell. Orange Nelly said Marco is evil. You know, out of all of the Republicans, Marco probably the only one that everyone likes. The Democrats, too. I don't see Marco being evil. I see Marco being a good guy. That's what I see. Listen. Far as I told you, it's just the ideology. This is America. Within the Republican Party itself, you got MAGA and America First or America First. I don't know if that's one or two movements. You got establishment Republicans. You got conservatives. You got libertarians. You got all kind of ideologies with the Republican Party. I understand President Trump came as he America first, don't want to fight no war kind of president. But whatever happened, you know what I'm saying, he fell into the swamp. He just basically a typical Republican. You know what I'm saying? I understand this has to be done. You got to respect that. Them saying they want to take out a leader who killed 35,000 of his own citizens. Over 40 years, that man probably killed 1 million Iranians. He is the Iranian people's worst nightmare. Them killing the Ayatollah, all the sponsor, the terrorism, all the dirt that man has did over the years. Them killing him, his clerics, his everything. It's nothing wrong with that. Some people might disagree with Orange Nelly. I say it's nothing wrong with that. I think he makes the world a safer place. By doing that, you make the Middle East safer. Like I said, you could get to a peace or a golden age by doing that. They're the agitators in that region, in that situation. However, that has nothing to do with trying to save President Trump politically or saving the Republican Party politically. What I just said had nothing to do. That's why if y'all go back, the people who listen to my live stream, 3 hours. How many political 3 hours giving you facts and stats and opinion? 3 hours. Sean Hannity ain't going 3. Joe Rogan do. You know what I'm saying? But 3 hours of straight content. So go back and listen to you could get AI to. And I'm saying the themes, everything's the same. My strategy, I'm on the same page lined up. I'm not pandering because I know what I'm talking about. Factual what I'm saying. Everything I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking at this from a larger standpoint, nonpartisan. From a nonpartisan standpoint, I see where Lindsey Graham coming from. I see where Ted Cruz coming from. And I see where Marco coming from. I see why President Trump pulled the trigger. I see where the CIA coming from. That's facts, my opinion. You can't support human rights. And regardless of whatever those entities I said, President Trump, Lindsey Graham, Ted Cruz, and the CIA, regardless of what their intentions is to want to fight the war, regardless, to me, it don't matter. I don't care. They're killing a guy who has killed tens of thousands of his own citizens just for speaking out against him. This guy's 1 trillion times worse than Putin. And you can't even put him in the same category as Xi. Way worse. Even though China had killed tens of thousands of their people too if they hit the streets. These governments are not good governments. They don't believe in human rights. They believe in control. So I'm saying you can't sit there and hate on Marco and President Trump for going after people who are really evil and really worse than Antifa ain't killing tens of thousands of people. Antifa ain't starving their people to spend money on weapons to fight against President Trump. You see what I'm saying? So them saying Antifa is evil. Renee Good was not evil in the sense just because she opposed ICE, like she's a mass murderer. She wasn't that. Ellis Peretti definitely wasn't that. So you using the word terrorist. Now those narco terrorists, you could tell the people that's evil. Renee Good and Ellis Peretti or Antifa shouldn't get none of that. That's just political stuff. But them knocking them narco terrorists out the water, yeah, those people are really evil. They running drugs that's killing people. Narco terrorism, them cartels, they'll kill people. Like that's evil. And what you're dealing with Iran, that's evil. That's real evil. So them going after or being hard or attacking evil, who can argue against that? Whether it's an illegal war or unauthorized war, every president does it. So him killing all the bad guys, the villains, I don't have a problem with that personally. I don't. I'm sorry. I do not. I'm a veteran of the U.S. military. The military overwhelmingly support this action. Ex-veterans do. That's what I'm saying. I don't have a problem with him. Ghost would go after Putin. If I was advising him, I'd go after Putin, bruh. I know the dangers. I was one of the first people that said Putin ain't gonna use no nuclear weapon. I don't see that. Not with Ukraine. I just don't see it. I mean, in my opinion, he's too scared in his own nation. Putin about this far from being, because he's been ruling Russia for longer than anybody. He about to be, if not already, longer than any dictator in the history of Russia. Longer than Stalin. So his time about up anyway. You get that? But what I'm trying to say is if it was me, I'd go after Putin. So him going after Iran, you just got to do it with wisdom and smartly. You know what I'm saying? When he went into Venezuela, it kind of surprised me how he did it overnight. You really can't get no opinion on it. Excuse me, but he snatched the bad guy and took him to court. What? And ain't no Americans died. What? Boy, you crazy. I'm going to use that strategy everywhere I go. Because that way I know I'll never get involved in a forever war. And I know I could strike everybody who the CIA got a list. And I just go all the way down the CIA's list. This is how you go down the list without getting oil prices crazy, without losing the stock market, saving yourself politically. You do it like you did it in Venezuela. Ghost. Iran is not Venezuela. I gave you that. You got a night in Venezuela. I give you 21 days in Iran. After 21 days, man, I'm completely against you because you're going against my words. I know after 21 days, if you stay 27 days, then hey, just to say, hey, Ghost, you ain't running now. But if you get out of there 21 days, when have I told you something ever was wrong? When have I ever told you? And I promise you at the same time, I keep the CIA happy. Because if y'all feel like it's not finished yet, let me try something real quick. Maybe I'll get more support after I attack them the next time from the American people, because I'm sitting there showing them I'm trying to show restraint. So let me try something real quick. Let me back up, let everything recover, and let's set up a diplomatic table again with all new people, all the rest of the people we dealt with. Jared, what's his name? The Middle East, what's his name? I forget his name. Well, they going back over there to meet with the all new leaders, all new Iranians, all of them new. We negotiating with all new people. All their previous negotiators are dead. You got to bring them back to the table. You ain't going to get them back to the table unless you stop dropping bombs. If they don't come back to the table after a few weeks and you start dropping the bombs, you let the economy recover, you start bombing them again. You did it last time. This your second time doing it. I'm telling you, if you keep on punching them, slapping them, and backing up, punch them, slapping, backing up, I'm telling you, he gonna get the point like that. Don't stay involved in a prolonged conflict. I said that from the beginning. I am not changing nothing I'm saying. I believe if you do that, that's gonna cost you. Point blank, period. That's my belief. Somebody, Miss Barber says I'm right. Thank you for that. DT says facts. Salute, bro. I'm an Army veteran that supported Iraqi freedom. You are on point. I really appreciate that, man. You know what I'm saying? Look, I don't want to lose one American troop. I don't want no American blood. None. We got enough Americans die from all kind of reasons across America. Violence, American, black on black crime. I know President Trump, he's not into the identity politics things, but that's something that I would want to address. There's so many things that I want to address, how I could integrate the police department better with the community so they could have a better relationship, understanding the community, having liaisons. Because they do this in some community, but I'm saying we could do this federally, liaisons between the locals and the community. There's all kind of things we could do to make our country a better place. President Trump addressed trade deficits, budgets, all kind of stuff. But I'm saying you can't do none of that because we going to keep on. Guys, tomorrow we talking about what we were supposed to talk about today, a Democrat and Marjorie Taylor Greene getting more votes than Republicans. That's what we're going to talk. We're going to break down some stuff because President Trump got to focus on the political fallout behind staying there for longer than 21 days. There's a political fallout, man. And your Republican counterparts in Congress, colleagues, are going to pay it. And it's going to cost you, President Trump, because when Hakeem Jeffries get the gavel, I'm telling you, they coming for your head. And a lot of others. Kristi Noem, they don't want her nowhere in the administration. They want to get I'm gonna tell you the people they gonna get or they coming for. Tom Homan, Kristi Noem, they coming for Pam Bondi, they coming for what's my boy name at the FBI? I could tell you the people they coming for. And President Trump, they're going to impeach you again. It's going to be very embarrassing. It's going to be very painful. Everything you try to do, they suing you in the courts. It take a while in the courts. That's a little more difficult process. But they stop you on the tariffs. You try, and they're going to try to, and then you immigration and they sue you. I'm saying whenever they got control of the purse, you talking about a government shutdown, they going to shut your whole government down. They going to subpoena. It ain't going to be Bill Clinton coming to testify before Epstein. It's going to be Harry Ludnick. I'm talking about it's going to be a whole spectacle, man. And you ain't have to go through none of that. You just got to stay plugged in with the voters, not MAGA. President Trump, you going to have fans. President Trump, you going to have millions of fans. It don't matter what happened. You got convicted of 34 felonies. You still got millions of fans. That's let me know that regardless of what President Trump does, that goes back to him being in and on TV before he ever got into politics. He got a fan club. That's not voters. It's a difference between a voter and a fan. Yeah, your fans will vote for you. It's good to have a base like President Trump. It's easy to win. He could use that base, like I said about AOC, as a wrecking ball. If you got 3 to 4 million people across America that's going to vote for you regardless, and AOC has that, that'll come out and show up for you. She got a real base of real fans. If you got that, you see what I'm saying? Then you got more than the regular politicians do, because when they show up and they do a speech, they got 62 people there or 500 people there. Unless they get somebody famous, then they'll get a crowd like AOC or get by herself. If you got a base like that, yeah, President Trump got a base like that. President Trump's name ain't on the ballot. The Republican Party historically will not be enthusiastic about voting in the midterms. That's what I'm trying to tell you. So the incumbent party, they're not so I'm trying to tell y'all, I told you once and I told you twice, we ain't gonna be talking about none of this come January of 2027. Gonna be like I should have listened to Ghost. 21 days, President Trump, get on down. Guys, we've been streaming on here for 2 hours and 35 minutes. Y'all know we stream for 3 hours. You know what I'm saying? If y'all haven't liked the video, double tap that screen for me. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell. Look, I always do this every day, man. I take someone who down there in the chat and they doing some good comment. I'll add them as a moderator. DT Hope, we gonna add you as a moderator. Malu, I appreciate your support, baby. I'm out here still, guys, on the Hudson Valley, out here in New York, man, about 30-something miles or so north of New York City. So what I do, like, around this time, man, you know what I'm saying, if you guys want to donate to the channel, it'll depend on how long we live stream. Like, I'm working right now. Currently, I'm working on a lawsuit, man. It's crazy because I filed, it wasn't a whole lawsuit, but it was an amended lawsuit. I think I filed that on Tuesday. You know what I'm saying? And then either Wednesday or Thursday, I filed a new lawsuit. And then, so I'm working on another one and it's ready to go. So that's like 3 in a week. I could file one every day. You know what I'm saying? My skill set then just got that good. 28 cases, man, less than 4 years, freelance paralegal. You know what I'm saying? So I got a little stuff to do, but you guys want to keep on streaming, you donate to the channel, we'll keep going. So guys, I'm going to set this up for a second. I'm going to take a break and I'll be right back with y'all, man. I appreciate y'all's support. You donate to the channel, hit the button with the dollar sign in it. Your donations are much appreciated. Yeah, baby. I'm back, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, man, like, I just wish for the success of my country. You know what I'm saying? I understand, like, I'm a Christian, man, so I have certain views that I believe that are gonna happen. I don't believe that President Trump is in control of what happens in the world. I think he's just a player. I don't think there's no man in control. I think God is in control. Ultimately, I think God is the creator of all things, heaven and earth. That's what I believe. So believing that, you know what I'm saying, I have a Bible that tells me how everything started. And then I have a Bible that tells me how everything's going to end. And I use that as a roadmap in life. You know what I'm saying? Living my life by the 66 books that's in the Holy Bible, Old Testament and New Testament. You know what I'm saying? I call that a roadmap. You know, I look at life as a journey. Almost like it's life as if, you know what I'm saying, you on not a trip, but I'm saying it's like you're supposed to be going somewhere in life, right? I mean, you're supposed to be learning stuff. You're supposed to be moving through life. So if I look at life as a journey, it's like a man who don't understand where he's going. He's like he's on a trip or he's on a journey without no map. He's just wandering. So to me, people who are not Christians, who do not believe that Jesus Christ is the Savior, to me, they don't have the truth and they're wandering. That's what I believe. You got to understand what I'm saying. I'm not saying that people who don't believe in God don't have no truth. They can have plenty of truth. People who aren't Christians, they can have plenty of truth, as much truth as any Christian, or in some situations, more truth. But the truth that matters, the truth that'll matter in the end, is the truth about the blood of Jesus Christ, man. It's about the next world, the next life. There's people who don't even believe in God. And this part, when I start talking, people who will say that like I'm a weirdo or something. It's not cool or it's not popular. You know what I'm saying? Everybody might say Christ is king. They might have a little catchphrase because America's still a Christian nation. You know what I'm saying? But like actually believing and worshiping God and living like, you know what I'm saying? People will mock you or laugh at you for like imaginary or unseen God. But yeah, man, I'm 10 toes with this. All 10. You feel me? Like, I done lived my life, bro. I done seen a lot of things. And if I could tell you one thing, anything that I've ever told you that is factual in my lifetime, is that God is as real or realer than me and than you. God created this world that we live in, literally. I don't mean like, he formed the earth with his hand. Yeah, what the scriptures say. But I'm saying, like, he created this world that we live in. Mentally. He did. Because look, this is what I'm saying. I'm saying, like, think about our time. Most humans cannot even understand, like, the concept of time outside of the earth. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 60 seconds in a minute, 60 minutes in an hour. That's only valid on Earth. That's not valid nowhere else in the solar system. You understand that? God created this world that we live in. Completely created it. Where God resides is more of reality than where we do. Listen, we all live in our own realities. That's facts. But the truth of the matter is, where God resides and what God is more realer, is more reality than us. We are created. We live in a created beings. When you die, your body will return to dirt. And that's what the Bible says that God created you as, is dirt. It's going to return to the ground from which it came. But your soul and your spirit is going to live forever. The Bible says it's going to return to God from whom it came. That's what I believe, man. I believe that with my heart. I don't believe it's no... Listen, you could go to a church or you could hear any man present the truth or present the gospel, and they could present it from their point of view, or they could present it in a way that you don't receive it well. But I'm saying their presentation of the gospel has nothing to do with the truth that God is real and he exists. Some people, I mean, for us Christians, I mean, you already passed this, but it's a lot of people who might be listening. God said his word will not return to him void. It's the reason why I'm saying it. People that don't even believe in God, when I start talking like this, they think I'm crazy. But they can't give me no logical explanation from why they came here, or how they got here, where they going when they die. Oh, we just cease to exist. Don't make no sense. They can't explain to me how we have more stars and planets, celestial bodies, than there are humans on the earth. Can't explain that to me. There's so many things science cannot explain, that you explain it by believing, having faith in God. Yeah, man. And it all boils down to salvation. And the salvation is that Jesus came to this earth to pay for my sins, to pay for your sins. I've told so many lies. I've stole. I've cheated. I've robbed. I ain't never killed nobody now. I can't say that. I don't take pride in it because the other stuff I'm just as guilty. Slept with hundreds of girls. You know what I'm saying? I hurt people. Was very rude and mean to people. I've done all kind of wrongs in my life. You see what I'm saying? The life that I lived, even being better than other people and being as good as I could be, is not good enough. The life that I lived, I deserve to go to hell after I lived that life. But the reason I will not go to hell, the reason why I will live with Jesus, has nothing to do with me. I cannot do enough good to pay for the sins that I already committed against God and the stuff that I still do wrong against God. The only way that can be forgiven or paid for is by the blood of the precious, holy, worthy Jesus Christ, who suffered, who bled, and who died on the cross as a sacrifice, as a payment, as an atonement for my sins. Jesus shed his blood on the cross. And because he shed his blood on the cross, me accepting that means that my lives are paid for. Does that make sense to you? Jesus paid for my lies. He died for my sins. He died for my lies. That means that my fornication is paid for. That means that all the things that I stole is paid for. Jesus paid for it when he died on the cross for my sins. That's what you don't understand. That's what you miss when you don't trust and accept Jesus. You miss the atonement for your sins. Because if you ever stand in front of me, I will forever make you guilty of your sins without the blood of Jesus. Nobody could blame me. I ask for forgiveness. I ask for forgiveness. And my God has forgiven me for my sins. It don't matter if no man forgive me. It don't matter if a man hold it over me for the rest of my life. My God has forgiven me for my sins. That's what you get when you get Jesus. If you don't have Jesus, you don't have that. I don't care what you going. So you telling me you a better person than me? I know you not. I'm just smart. You can't run no game on me. I know every man lie. Even the preacher tell lies. In the right situation, any man would sleep with a woman, especially if he not married, and the married man would too. Right situation. Ain't no man is above anything. It don't matter how good he say he is. Even those Buddhist monks. You'll be surprised what people do when the closed doors and in the dark. What makes any man who says he's righteous, if you believe him, what makes him righteous is him praying and accepting the blood of Jesus Christ as the payment of his sins. I believe that with my whole heart. I don't believe no one to go to heaven without Jesus Christ. I believe anyone can go to heaven with Jesus Christ, just like the thief on the cross. For whosoever shall call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved. All you got to do, man, go to a quiet place, man, and pray. You got to come to a place where you really sorry, truly sorry for your sins. You see what I'm saying? I got tired of my lies. I got tired of stealing. I got tired of just sleeping with a whole bunch of girls, man. I used to sell drugs, man. I got tired of selling drugs, looking over my shoulder. Real talk. Tired of doing that to people, kids, poisoning people, kids. Man, I was tired of that life. Tired of beefing with people. Tired of yelling and screaming at people. Tired of cussing people out. Just tired of everything, man. Tired of it. Sick and tired of being sick and tired. You got to come to a place like that in order to ask God for forgiveness. That's true repentance. And you got to accept Jesus' payment in your heart and your mind. You got to understand this. It's an understanding. That's how you accept it, by understanding that Jesus' blood is the only way and how I'm going to heaven, because now I'm not worthy. That's accepting his blood as payment for your sins, understanding it. You accept his blood as payment for your sins. Understand it. You repented for your sins. And the last thing you got to do is believe that Christ will save you. You need that faith. Got to have that faith. If you believe Christ is, that's the first step. You believe in God and believe in Jesus, but just believing in God and just believing in Jesus isn't salvation. The Bible say the devils believe and tremble. You see what I'm saying? Just believing is that you're not going to go to heaven just because you believe in God or believe in Jesus. That's not how you go to heaven. Why Jesus had to die for? Why he had to get beaten and embarrassed and rejected, publicly humiliated. Y'all seen Passion of the Cross before, man? Imagine that in real life. Imagine what he went through for you and for me, man. He was perfect. He didn't deserve none of that. You feel that? And I'm saying, why he have to go through that unless it was necessary? And it's necessary that he had to do that so I could go free. When I stand before God, all with my faith in Jesus Christ, and God knows my heart that I have accepted that as the payment of my sins, at no time in my life do I see a place of humility to think that I'm good enough to go to heaven off a ghost. Ghost ain't good enough to go to heaven, and you ain't either. You ain't no better than me. You probably worse. The only way that I could go to heaven is through what, y'all? Say it with me one time. Put it in the chat, Malu. The precious blood of the Lord Jesus Christ. That's the most precious thing that I know of. For a human being, the value of the blood of Jesus Christ for a human, because that means that, look, you could come check me. Look, it's about what's going on inside of you. I'm getting deep down with it for you. I'm going to cook for a minute for God. Do it for God. I do it for President Trump and them. Do it for God. You talk about what's going down inside of you in your mind. That's where it matters at. You feel me? In your mind and your heart, you know you guilty. You don't think somebody a murderer? He know he ain't no good. If a girl set her husband up to get murdered, she know he ain't no good. You ain't no good, girl. She know in her heart. She might be trying to play out here for these people like this. She knows she ain't no good. It's called peace. The peace of God. I got peace. All the drugs I sold in my lifetime. And I got peace. I get peace. In the car, happier than these people living in a mansion. I got more peace than you, boy. Because you ain't paid for them sins. Some of these dudes had to kill people to get money. They didn't kill people to keep their money. They in cults and stuff. You see what I'm saying? I ain't gonna have to get deep into it. You know what I'm talking about. If you know, you know. You done had to do all kind of foul, unrighteous stuff. You think, bro, God said it's the Holy Spirit. They caught that soul. You talk to him. Tell me if I'm lying. Y'all told you I'm a cook for God this morning. It talk to them. They know they wrong. You know when you do something wrong. You know you think this stuff through in your. That's your conscience, your soul. It's where the Lord dwell at, in the spirit. In spirit and truth. See what I'm saying? So it's like in my mind and my heart, the people outside of me, they like, oh, he a bad dude, y'all. He slept with a 17-year-old before. He a bad dude, man. Ghost, I'm talking about you slept with that 17-year-old. You was 20, what? Like 29? You were like 30, almost 30. A 17-year-old. See how I'm real like that? 17-year-old, that's legal in Mississippi? Yeah, that's legal. That's the legal age in the state of Mississippi. At that time, it was 16. If I'm not mistaken. You a bad dude, Ghost. I got forgiveness for everything wrong that I've done in my life. The most foul stuff you could say to try to hold against me, you holding it. But I asked Jesus for forgiveness. I got the blood of Jesus, and I'm testifying for it. I don't care how you feel. That's why they always lose against me, man. It's what's in your heart. It don't matter what you say out your mouth, how you live. Bruh. Prior to me making a profession, I made the first, well, look, I ain't talking about what I did as a kid. I don't talk about what I did in my 20s. When I was a child, I spake as a child, everything as a child, walk as a man. A 25-year-old man who has sex with a 15-year-old, that's sick and disgusting, but he's 25. Ain't nobody on the Epstein list was 25, bruh. These granddaddies. These 50-year-olds, 60-year-olds, ain't nobody 25 on no Epstein list. We don't talk about what you did your 25. I'm finna be 46 years old. Now what I did in my 30s, I talk about that. When you turn about 30-year-old, that's the age to me. They say 35. You can't be president till you 35. But I say 30 is about the age of maturity. What I did without 30, I'm not out partying. I know you know what you're doing at 30. Y'all don't give you no excuses at 30. You sleep with that 14-year-old at 30, that's something totally different than you did it when you was 21. Come on, man. You know, we know the story. Some of these 14-year-olds are more whorish than a 30-year-old. We know this stuff, man. Come on. Some of these times you don't even know how old they are. If you a child, you 25, you drunk, y'all high, you don't know. Come on, man. I'm talking about grown man stuff. So when I was 30, man, or 31, I believe, 31 years old, I made a profession when I asked Jesus to forgive me. At that time, I was addicted to like heavy painkillers, like Oxycontins and Opanas and Roxy's. Oh, Roxy's was my thing. I take 3 of them a day, $30 a pill, $1 a milligram at that time. And I was taking 3 of them a day. I don't know how I could afford it with no job. Going to Tampa to get them from the pill mills for like $8 and you sell them for $30, that's $22. And I'm just snorting up all of the money. It ain't like I'm advancing my life with the profits. That's how I was living. I got saved. And, I made a profession of faith. I ain't trying to confuse you, but that was 2011. Since then, I have not taken one painkiller, unless I went to the doctor 3 or 4 times for a dentist. I ain't taken a pain pill since. I don't know no drug dealers, no street dudes numbers. That making that, I didn't get saved, but just that profession, just that close encounter with God changed my life. I'm talking about without me even becoming a Christian. I had a really close encounter with God in 2011, and I never sold a drug again. And it's not because I'm scared, because I bet your eye, I probably shoot you faster than you shoot me. It's just I made a promise to God. And even when I was tested, I would buy pills for a female who got the money. Not only the money, she gave me $100 for 60 pills. And she coming over here for us to do whatever I want to do with her. Making movies with her every day, after work, every day. Drill session. But I'm not going to sell no drugs because I promised God I'm not going to do it. That close encounter with God, even though I became a Christian, it changed my life. The problem I had after I made that profession, and I thought I was a Christian, but I wasn't. I didn't come to the understanding that God, I get in my 30s, I'm not fooling with drugs no more. So the devil came to me with another sin. Hey, he came back around the mountain. Hey, okay, then. So if this ain't gonna get you, then he think he was a Christian. This boy think he a Christian. He faking. This boy ain't no Christian. I can't get him with the drugs no more, though. Hey, look, okay, God seen that. He seen that it's something inside of him for God, and he'll respect God. So God ain't backed off of him yet. But watch this, God. He ain't no good, I'm telling you. Watch this. And bro, from when I was about 34 years old, 35 years old, to about 37, 38, an 18-month period, bro, I had sex with 95 females. I'm saying an 18-month period. Like before, like 34, not as much. 35, I started wilding. And I wilded all the way up to about right before I turned 38, about December 2017. So less than that 3-year period, it's over 100 girls, but 95 in 18 months, I was wild. Just going crazy. So I went from drugs to a female. But I really got saved in August of 2018. And you talk about, I'm not saying that I've been perfect. Under the circumstances, quite contrary. You know, it take you get a lot of, I don't want to say testosterone, but it's a mental thing too when you doing that with a lot of different females. It's like almost a game, like you hunting. Like if I see her and she put them thoughts in my mind, I gotta get that. And I'm only gonna get 3 out of 10. So that lack of success, it drives me further because when I am successful, you see what I'm saying? It's more than just me like, oh, you just spending money. Nah, there's a bunch of girls that I didn't pay them nothing. The girl I still love in my life, she was paying me. She was buying me Ed Hardy, paying for rent for me. I ain't never paid rent. And then we was together for months and expensive rent. And in these situations, like Heidi, like the girl, the hitter, wasn't like I ain't paying them nothing. A man pay more money with a female than anybody else. Well, a married man. You paying for her rent. You paying some of these men, they wife, they never work. They got more money than me. Thousands, tens of thousands in the bank. What? This woman ain't never worked in her life. He hold her down. That's what God said for a man to do. It ain't God didn't call it tricking. He told a man he's supposed to provide for his wife. And she's supposed to be a keeper at home. That's in the Bible. If I'm not mistaken, that's in the New Testament too. You see what I'm saying? So, I mean, like, you talking about a girl that you chilling and kicking it with like that. You know what I'm saying? You just giving her a couple dollars. Really, that's all it was. And I'm saying it wasn't like I had to do it. I had to do that to whatever, bro. It's just a number of females that I was messing with, and they focused on the bad situations. Oh, here, one of these girls was 17. But 10 of them was like in their 40s, and I'm in my 30s. But they ain't gonna tell you about them other 10. You see what I'm saying? They're gonna find the 17-year-old that you talked to for 2 times, 3 times. They ain't gonna tell you about, you know what I'm saying, I got 5 girls, the 2 or 3 of the girls that's closest to me, I ain't even having sex with. And I'm talking about I'm loving them down like the girls, or even more than the girls I do have sex with. They ain't gonna tell you about that. They're gonna make it projected or seem like I'm some kind of sexual deviant. That's what I'm saying. That's that propaganda stuff. And I understand how propaganda works. That's what I'm saying. I really not into like no military stuff like that kind of propaganda. I know how that propaganda works, bro. I'm telling you, I know how it works. I just know how it works. And I know they be talking propaganda, man. That stuff they be saying ain't real. They be trying to make the story be instead of saying it for the truth. I ain't gonna lie, I'm telling you, yeah, one of the girls, she was 17. I'm remembering that. She ain't nothing like that now, but at that time she was. You know what I'm saying? It was legal. Her parents knew about it. What I'm gonna say about it? I shouldn't have done it. But I struck like, you know what I'm saying? You talking about 95 girls? I vividly remember a girl about 44 and I'm like 36 from Atlanta, Georgia, a white girl. And yeah, I met her like I think on Backpage. But when I finished talking to her, it wasn't on Backpage. Her number was on my phone. I wasn't paying nothing. Like, and I remember she 44. I'm talking about I like had a love Jones for her more than I did any girl that I'm talking about. No 17-year-old or not. A straight love Jones for her. We don't talk about the 44-year-olds. That's gonna make ghosts look too good or look normal. You know what I'm saying? Because we saying 36-year-old rappers, they date 18-year-old girls. Not talking about what they doing behind closed doors. You know that. I mean, if it's legal, it depends what state you in. And at that time, I think, if I'm not mistaken, in my state, 17 was legal. If I'm not mistaken. And I did do it. I ain't gonna, I've been washed under the blood, but I'm saying, like, you talking about 95 girls. They try to make it, paint the picture like that's what I was messing with. They'll pull up a girl from back when I was 22 years old. He found a 15-year-old when I was 22 years old. You might have. I'm going to be honest with you, bro. I'm 20s. If I'm going to judge somebody when he's 20, he might get probation, especially if he ain't raped the girl. Saying nothing ever came out of it. Her parents knowing. Hey, you don't understand the situation. I'm not a dog. I'm not dogging in the situation at all. That's why if I had sex with an underage, I got a homeboy who had sex with an underage girl one time. I think he was like 19 or 20 and she was 14 and he got that scarlet letter. He wearing it around to the day. He got convicted as a sex offender at 19 or 20. He been a sex offender, having to register, went to jail for not registering his whole life. I think my homeboy y'all know who I'm talking about. I think my homeboy on drugs to this day. I love my homeboy. He used to be like my brother, staying at my house and everything. I think my homeboy to this day on drugs and doing all that stuff because he's a registered sex offender. It's a reason why that happened to him like that. And I told him when he was talking to the 14th girl underage and you trying to be like a player to her, dude, that was crazy to me. And it's a reason why if I did, and you will never hear the girl come back and say that something might have happened. She'll never come back and say nothing like no Jeffrey Epstein or nothing like that ever happened with me. I don't even think that you really, if they be honest, ain't no bad experiences. Real talk. Ain't no bad experience. Not in my 30s. Not no bad experiences. She gone 2 or 3 times before me even once. I'm going to make sure to it. I don't have no bad experiences with no girls like that. Real talk. Ain't no hitting on no girl, not no situation like that. And bro, all these girls, these situations, they could say I did A, B, C, or D, 17-year-old, whatever. Name me one girl that ever said I forced her to do anything, one. Regardless of what age. If you say she was 17, go get her. Tell me one girl say that I forced her to do anything. If anything, she forced me, dude, or stalking me, dude. Y'all be right back. Real talk. Guys, like, I admitted to my wrongs, man. I admitted to my sins. I asked for forgiveness. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, God forgave me, but some men, they haven't forgave me. They still trying to hold my past against me. That's on them. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to tell it to you raw. Like, if you say something about me, yeah, I will embrace it if it's the truth. You know what I'm saying? Dude called me crazy. He thought, you know what I'm saying, because I said I got a mental disability, he thought like he projecting something on me. Nah, he just pointed something out to the light to me. That's the kind of dude I am. If you point something out to me that's real and it's true, I accept what you're saying. I'll go with it. If it's real and it's true, if you pointed out to me that I have a disability, that's what he really did. You know what I'm saying? I'm already in my mind thinking that something ain't right because I get too angry in situations. Look, I got like impulse control disorder. I done had girlfriends who told me that I was thinking the wrong thoughts when I thought that they were cheating on me and they weren't cheating on me. You know what I'm saying? I done had enough life experiences to think that, you know what I'm saying, like sometimes I have wrong thoughts about stuff and something. But not that I had like a disability like that. So if somebody who I respect starts saying that out loud or starts saying it publicly, then I'm starting to see that other people are seeing that I have an issue too. So I ain't gonna just have too much pride like you are and try to say, oh no, and like not recognize it. You know what I'm saying? I passed the point, like I'll never be in a situation where I feel like I ain't ask for forgiveness if I'm wrong because I accepted Jesus. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm past that point. I'm past all of that, bro. So, you know what I'm saying? Like when I see something, if you point something out to me that I know that's true, I'm going to correct it. I'm not going to argue with you. If I'm arguing with you, you lying in what you saying. You doing that propaganda stuff. Everybody do propaganda stuff. I don't do no propaganda stuff. I can't say that I don't tell lies sometimes, but I could say I do not do that propaganda stuff. I don't believe in that, man. I'm not going to blow the smoke. I'm going to kind of let it be what it's going to be. If I'm going to tell a lie, it's going to be that one lie situation in and out. I'm not going to keep repeating and living with the lie. I'm not in a situation like that where I know you could check on what I'm saying, so I'm going to have to tell another lie. I'm going to just tell you the truth. Like, you got to understand, I deal in courts and stuff like that, bro. You can't be lying in there. You know what you're dealing with. Them people could check on you in the federal court. She could use any tool in a federal tool bag that President Trump got. She could use any one of them alphabet agencies the judge can to order any kind of information to be found out that she want to find out. If she care that much, she can do that. You feel that? Like, I ain't going to be lying to them people. You don't lie to them people. That's just one thing you don't do. Not in the court. I'll never do that. And I learned certain, like, but I ain't going to say I don't lie because I'm not perfect. And sometimes I do. You know what I'm saying? But I try not to, most definitely. But every sin that a long story short, bro, every sin that you got, once you ever committed, once you come to the place of forgiveness, Jesus Christ, he could offer you a new life. Jesus said that those that are his father's, he said they in his father's hand, no man could pluck them from his father's hand, man. You see what I'm saying? That means that if you accept Jesus and you become a child of God and you have a relationship with God, it don't matter what no man feel, man. Like, it don't matter how people accuse me. They could think whatever. I heard somebody say I'm a bad seed. I don't care what nobody say, man. None of that matters. All of that is completely irrelevant. It doesn't matter. Listen, when you die, my Bible says that when we all die, we will stand before God. Point blank, period. There will be any woman who has not accepted Jesus Christ will be judged for their actions. Brian C. says, Marco Rubio 2028. Man, Brian, he always supporting. I say, man, like, yeah, Brian, not to switch the conversation, but thanks for that donation, man. you know what I'm saying? I mean, I told you I got to cook for God, man. I ain't a preacher, but you know what I'm saying? I'm going to just give the real. As far as Marco, man, I think the thing about that, he just got too much support. He got more support than Marco. JD got the richest man in the world, Elon Musk. I think JD at heart is a libertarian. It's my belief. Elon is definitely a libertarian. They love JD Vance, man. The tech culture. I mean, that's the reason why, one of the reasons President Trump chose JD, man. And then you have an organization like Turning Point USA, you know what I'm saying, who definitely isn't the organization that they were when Charlie Kirk was alive, but they still have hundreds of millions of dollars, and they still have a lot of people working for them. So they're still capable of being a force in the Republican Party. And what I'm saying is right now, the JD Vance has Turning Point in his back pocket. They endorsed him for president already. You see what I'm saying? It's not just Turning Point. You know what I'm saying? It's not just Elon. Look, if you ask me, that's what I'm saying. Like, some people, they can't separate the opinions. They can't separate a personal opinion from like a professional opinion. But if give opinions, and that's why, Brian, I'm doing politics, because I'm giving opinions. I had to learn how to separate my personal opinion from my professional opinion. Y'all know, like with Jasmine Crockett, that's like personal conduct. That's why I did those other predictions, to show y'all that I'm capable of picking and predicting right. But personally, I want Jasmine to win, so I might get that wrong. That's like with Kamala. Like, you know, personally, I love that woman. She ain't no girl. She a woman. She older than me. I love that woman. You see what I'm saying? Like, personally, I'm always going to ride with her. No matter if I'm right or wrong, right, wrong, or indifferent. I'm going to ride with Jasmine, right, wrong, or indifferent. I'm going to ride with AOC, right, wrong, or indifferent. That's what loyalty is. But that's why I make those other picks, to show y'all that that's a personal pick. That's not a professional pick. Because you'll hold my personal pick against me. Professionally is different. Personally, Rubio will be a better president than JD Vance. Number one, Marco Rubio has served in the Senate for a longer time than JD Vance has. Okay, he is more experienced. Marco Rubio ran for president against Donald Trump in 2016. He was one of the contenders. So I'm saying, in Florida, Marco Rubio is super clouded. Marco Rubio might be more clouded in Florida than President Trump is. That's real talk. We ain't talking about nationwide. We ain't talking about within the Republican Party. I'm talking about with independents. I guarantee you, if you poll Marco with independents and President Trump with independents, Marco gonna poll better. Y'all can't do this with Ghost. Y'all know Ghost know what he talking about when it comes to this. He would be better for the Republican Party. Man, I know you don't trust JD. It's not just about, because he's too young. He hadn't shown you enough. He hadn't shown you, and you hadn't seen enough from him. That's what I'm saying. He hadn't been in power for a long enough time. And Marco Rubio has. You see what I'm saying? So with Marco Rubio, it's like almost naturally that, I mean, you would think, look at, well, I know JD is a vice president. Marco, he's actually a secretary of state. I mean, that's like a, but I'm saying, like, you could see the experience that Marco has. Marco was the only one of President Trump's picks that got unanimous picks, Democrats too, and you can see why. Marco posed really well with independents. I'm saying, like, Marco has all of the experience, all of the other factors, everything that you would want to have, right, or a good president or a solid Republican candidate. I guess, Brian C., is going to all come up to the voters. It's going to come down to the voters, the Republican Party, if they both run in the Republican primary. But I'm saying JD got a machine behind him. You know what I'm saying? Jay, you might not trust him, but, you know, he getting that money. It depends. Money in politics mean a lot. And he was the vice president, and he a libertarian, so he going to come out talking that America First MAGA stuff, but from a different angle than President Trump. I don't know how much. I know Jay. They both gonna talk America. I need to do a live stream on this JD versus Marco. They both as presidential. You know what I'm saying? Not pitting them against each other. They both talk that America First stuff, but JD gonna come at it like Elon. He gonna come at it about not spending money, not fighting pointless wars. He gonna come at it from a different angle. Marco, I think Marco, more or less, in my opinion, Marco is more still of he's like a establishment Republican, or that old Republican guard. You know what I'm saying? And I think, you know, in President Trump doing like the fighting and the wars, and, you know, I think JD, like in a primary, like, I don't know, it said President Trump, we gonna have to see, but I think JD, he might try to step away from, you know what I'm saying, the fighting the wars, because I don't really think JD really for that anyway. He really not into that anyway. You know what I'm talking about? JD really not into fighting the wars anyway. So I think that'd be a difference between them, you know what I'm saying, like not just fighting the wars, but JD's version of MAGA versus Marco's version of MAGA. Or maybe Ron DeSantis' version of MAGA, because I think, Brian, someone outside of President Trump's administration will be in the top, if not two, definitely in the top three. Either Ron DeSantis or Nikki Haley will be in the top two or top three. There's going to be an alternative to Trump on that ticket in 2029, definitely. There'll be an alternative to MAGA and carrying on President Trump. I'm saying with Ron DeSantis, you're going to get something that's further or more conservative than President Trump. I don't know if that'll work in 2028, but that's what you're going to get. He's going to get a lot of President Trump's hard down MAGA-based supporters. Ron DeSantis will. I'm saying Nikki Haley, she's going to probably be those never Trumpers again. How she ran good and strong against President Trump in 2024. You see what I'm saying? Like, what if Nikki Haley, like, that ain't, you talking about Marco and JD Vance? I could see Nikki Haley doing good against Marco and JD Vance. She did good against President Trump. You go to Iowa probably will go to JD, but you go to New Hampshire, I think Nikki Haley will probably do first or second in New Hampshire. You see what I'm saying? Like, depending on the states. And do you know she from South Carolina? She didn't win South Carolina against President Trump, but against JD and Marco. JD and Marco gonna split that Trump vote. You gotta understand that. If they both get in it, they gonna split that vote. And so that's going to insert a Nikki Haley or Ron DeSantis or both of them. And only the strongest to survive, in my opinion, out of JD and Marco. And Marco just, as far as the money, he just going to be coming from really far behind because, you know what I'm saying, JD already got initial support financially. You know what I'm saying, man? Y'all ghosting here cooking, man, because that's some good content I'm giving y'all. That's some good insight. You know what I'm saying? Because Brian's saying, like, you know, JD and Marco, I have to say those are two of the favorites. Definitely JD, you see what I'm saying? And definitely Marco, too. Marco's doing a good job, in my opinion, Secretary of State. You know what I'm saying? Marco don't be saying no crazy stuff. He say the stuff that need to be said. Y'all just holding stuff other people do. You don't like Secretary Noem, or you don't like AG Bondi, or you don't like President Trump, so you don't like Marco. Marco do a good job. I don't care what y'all say, bro. That's Democrats. You don't really hear Democrats. I'm more tapped in with Democrats than y'all Republicans. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm all over Big Blue, all over these blue states, man. You don't really hear Democrats. They don't really be that hard on Marco like that. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like Marco. He a conservative, but like, you know what I'm saying? Ain't too hard on Marco. You know what I'm saying? I'm just being real with y'all. Marco Rubio is definitely not a problem to the Republican Party. And I don't think JD is either. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like they understand JD. I don't know if it's because them females, they think he cute. I don't know what it is. But it's like they understand him more. His style just different than President Trump. But with the people President Trump style good with, they feeling President Trump. They feel it just depends. You know what I'm saying? It just depends. You know what I'm saying? Y'all, I'm trying to keep y'all with me. Had to stop in the bank, get a couple dollars, man. You know what I'm saying? Trying to keep y'all with me as long as I can. I'm an old man, bro. Y'all forgive me if I'm... I ain't trying to be sagging on camera or whatever like that, man. You know what I'm saying? Pull my pants up and everything, y'all, man. I just try to, you know what I'm saying, give y'all some strategy and analysis, what I see going on, man. You know what I'm saying? We do talk about the Democrats a lot, Brian. I definitely want to talk about the Republicans. I appreciate those donations. You know what I'm saying? I definitely want to talk about the Republicans, though, because, yeah, man, I think JD and Marco is split. You know what I'm saying? That Trump, like, that popular Trump vote. You know what I'm saying? And then that hardline Trump vote, I think, could go to Ron DeSantis. So, in my opinion, you got Ron DeSantis. If Marco runs, which I think he will, you have Marco and you have JD. Them three will be your top contenders to get the majority of that MAGA, America First, libertarian / tech bro support. That'll be the most of the Republican Party, in my opinion. Those three, but they got to split it. They fighting over it. There'll be an element of the Republican Party who want to go in a completely different direction. They're not really into that Donald Trump stuff or that MAGA stuff. They just want to move different all the way from President Trump, something new. That'll be a big element. It won't be big as MAGA. MAGA probably will be about, it depends if President Trump don't mess up that bad, MAGA will probably be in the mid-50s, high 50% of the Republican vote. You know what I'm saying? 2028 presidential primaries. You would probably have, you know, some other, I ain't getting into them. I'm going to focus on that non-Trump vote going to be in the high 30s. So you're going to have three people trying to split that 50-some%, 58, 59%. And you'll have a Nikki Haley who probably going to be almost in a lane by herself. The most respected female in the race. South Carolina, high, you know, I think in the Republican primary, isn't it like really? And I'm saying she going to be getting that vote that she did really well against President Trump. She get 40%. I think she'll get that almost that same percentage. Think about that. She got about 40% against President Trump. I think she'll get almost that same percentage of Republicans who gonna vote for her in those primaries. And I think Marco, Ron DeSantis, the harder version of President Trump, because you ain't got President Trump no more. You got 3 candidates. The more experienced Maduro operation, peace deal in Israel. Those are all listen. The biggest accomplishments from President Trump's administration, Marco is doing that. See, that's what I'm saying. Personally, I know Marco would be a great president. The biggest accomplishments in President Trump's administration. So imagine all of those good accomplishments with none of that snatching Greenland, shooting Americans, ICE. Imagine none of that in a Trump administration, but a lot more Maduro situations and one-day bombing Iran, more situations like that. That's Marco. That's Marco. JD, I think JD will surprise y'all. I think JD will be more on the finances, the money, and the economics. And in a time like this, I think that play really well. It just depends. He got to separate himself from President Trump. You know what I'm saying? If things go sour. And DeSantis is going to get that far-right conservative Trump, MAGA people. The ones who are like, you know what I'm saying? Like, real, like out there, far right. DeSantis to get that part of President Trump's coalition. So that 59, 58, 57% of the Republican vote that President Trump got in the 2024 presidential primaries is still going to be out there, but you're going to split it up between a Marco Rubio type if Marco don't run, JD and Ron DeSantis. Who knows how that'll go? JD might coalesce to most of the support. Him and Marco and Ron, it might be split even. Situation like that, Nikki Haley gonna run past all of y'all. Because it's less Republicans like that support Nikki in the party. That's why she couldn't beat President Trump in the end. But I'm saying if you got to split that Trump coalition between 3, then Nikki Haley gonna get more support than them 3. Because she in the high 30s. And they splitting 50, 60%. Just because they split 60%, Ron DeSantis might only get 6%. I mean, JD might end up with 30% of it. But they still got to split the 60%. However it's split, I'm not saying it's going to split 20. However it's split is how it's split. But they got to split the 60% is what I'm saying. Nikki Haley ain't got to split nothing. She going to be in a lane by herself in that primary. I'm telling you, she is a force to be reckoned with. Ghost told you first in 2026. I got to keep making sure I tell y'all so ain't no outside, you know what I'm saying, people come in and try to steal what I'm trying to tell y'all. Oh, Nikki Haley, man, she might be the presidential nominee in 2028. Don't let it surprise you. You know what I'm saying? She gonna have an arm. America gonna want China. They might want to move all away from President Trump, anything Trump. But you gonna have MAGA gonna still have the most of the party though held captive. But I'm saying there'll be enough Republicans in there if Nikki Haley, I'm telling y'all, is she gonna coalesce that part of the party that don't want nothing to do with Trump, just like the Democrats. We moving away from the Clintons, we moving away from the, you know what I'm saying, they like a dynasty. We moving away from the Bushes. We tired of that. New change. We voting with black man. Make sure we going far away from them. You see what I'm saying? We voting Trump. You know what I'm saying? Moving away from the Clintons. You know what I'm saying? So it might be a situation where we trying to move away, you know what I'm saying, from the Trumps. And Nikki Haley, even though it's more, just like in the 2024 primary, he gets 60% or 62, she get 38. So you got 62% with a DeSantis, Nikki Haley, and I mean, 62%, but with the Sanchez, JD, and Marco. And then Nikki Haley, she's sitting over there by herself primarily with her 38%. You have some centrists or some stuff like that in the race, they'll get like 2 or 3%. Nikki Haley got the most support. She gonna beat almost anybody in that Republican Party. Y'all sleeping on her. She been outside of the Trump administration. Her name ain't got muddied in no y'all listen to Ghost as smart as I don't know what. You hearing wisdom is begotten to her children. Brian C. paid for this. I'll do a whole stream on this, y'all. Nikki Haley's name, she think her being in the Trump administration, that was a snuff on her, and it could have been attended as a snuff on her. But because she has not been involved in this at all, she ain't getting no dirt thrown on her at all. Nikki Haley, y'all know how good she did against President Trump. Y'all sleeping on it. I'm saying that is a very, I like female politicians, y'all know that, but that is a very attractive politician. I'm not talking about her looks. I mean, she's not ugly at all. I'm talking about her soul, and I'm talking about her politics. That's an attractive Republican politician. She talk with sense. When she speaks, she talk with sense. She's a conservative. So it's not like me lining up with AOC because she for human rights or she for taxing the rich, and that's some of Ghost's pet things. She's a conservative, so she necessarily, she believe in a lot of stuff that Trump doing. She won't do it. She won't do it like President. She gonna execute differently. And the execution differently in certain things, that'll kill the Democrats. Because the Republicans got the support. Trump had coalesced all of the support. The Democrats thought they was dead. It's just his failed execution on certain things. It gave the Democrats life. They've been reborn. But I'm saying, if you put a Republican on that ticket, Marco would be a good president. I'm not saying JD won't. JD might be it might end up being JD and Nikki. That's what I think. If the country moved to the left, why would the Republican Party go to DeSantis? He's too far right. Marco, he kind of like establishment, but if the country to the left, the Republicans, they probably gonna get somewhere in that middle or that center. And JD and Nikki Haley, the two most in the center, I could see them the last two Republicans standing, JD and Nikki Haley. It's like almost a rematch between President Trump because it's the same voters, the same kind of, so it's going to be, those are the two ideologies that you're going to be voting for, Nikki's or JD's, I believe, in the center. Unless the Republicans surprise me, it might be Nikki and Ron DeSantis. I think she's going to be one of the last two standing if she don't sneak it out, depending on how she run her campaign. She did it before. She coming back stronger, bro. I'm telling you, she's formidable. Top two left is Nikki Haley, if not number one. Ghost got a prediction. I'm going to have a prediction market. Look, before the vote in 2028, before the voting starts, 2027, next year, I'm going to give y'all the top 4 Democrats left standing and the top 4 Republicans. And I could predict almost exactly who's going to be on that ticket. No feelings. Before I start endorsing candidates, I'm going to do one of them. The last 4 Democrats, the last 4 Republicans. I think Gavin Newsom starting off too early, too high, too early. I think him and VP Harris going to split some votes. I think once Gavin Newsom start off, when the campaign start off, Gavin going to be the front runner. Pretty California boy. He going to be out there. And then Fox News and them Republicans, they going to focus on him and they going to start bringing up stuff and they going to start beating him to sleep. I think quietly, they going to be on VP Harris too, but I think quietly, because she the vice president, she done got beat. It's like Trump. They already know about her. I think she's going to coalesce all of that kind of support. I think VP Harris going to outlast Gavin. I really do. I think he's going to start off too fast, too early. And I think that he's going to be the Republicans' favorite target to start off. They're going to be beating Gavin Newsom. I hope he's ready for it. If he slide his campaign down and under, you got to know what you're doing. Cause they're gonna be pumping him, and it's gonna be hard for him not to feed into that pump. Cause that's Gavin Newsom, boy. He stood 10 against Trump and the Republicans. But I think once he get to that spot where he the front runner too early, always the person front runner too early. Usually, you see what I'm saying? VP Harris was vice president. So I think them two California Democrats gonna be almost getting that same they're gonna be voting. They're getting that same, you know what I'm saying? Not that Biden vote, but maybe Obama vote, the establishment vote gonna be, in my opinion, mostly between Gavin and Kamala. And I just think she'll outlast him because the Republicans, you know how they get down, you know the politics they play. Brian C. could tell you, he know I'm telling y'all the truth. They gonna beat Gavin Newsom to sleep early. So I don't know. That's just my opinion. Gavin might stand past it, but I think AOC is the Nikki Haley and the Democrats. She could get all of the progressive vote. And that 30-some% of the progressive vote in Democratic primaries, Bernie Sanders' model, it might just be the difference. She has to run, though. And I got to run too, y'all. It's 11 o'clock a.m., man. I'm just out here running my mouth, man. You know what I'm saying? Almost 4 hours, man, on a Friday. Got one more day. We off on Sunday. We're going to start next week, man. Praying for an end of the war, man. Tell President Trump someday next week, President Trump, you got to do this for Ghost, man. You got to go ahead and say the end. America's combat missions have been achieved. Military objectives have been achieved. So we're going to go ahead, turn it down. We're going to turn up the diplomacy. And if Iran ain't willing to play right, then we're going to go for round 3. That would be Ghostwriter's plan. Instead of staying in a conflict for 15, 20 years, man. All the American life casualties, I'm about to go get some gas, I imagine. You know what I'm saying? Can't afford nothing. Everything too expensive. You know what I'm saying? Unbelievable, y'all. That's my time, man. I love y'all, man. I'll see y'all next time tomorrow morning about 7 a.m. Eastern time, y'all. You know what I'm saying? I told y'all, man, this is the day the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. Man, y'all take it easy. Y'all be good. Have a great Friday night, and I'll catch y'all in the morning.